Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit holybatcast.com or find us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. You will find us. If you love the show, you want to help support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. As always, big thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. You make our lives so much easier, so much better, so it is very much appreciated. We're also part of the Real Fans Podcast Network, so if you're looking for other shows to enjoy, you can check those out at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm Andy DiGenova. You can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. And we are back. Thank you guys for your patience. I hope everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving, but I was out of town for Thanksgiving. So what we're going to do today is we're going to catch up on everything that happened over the past couple weeks. And there's quite a bit of news, quite a bit of cool DC stuff that's worth chatting about. And joining me for that is my good pal, Jamie Drewley. Hey, Jamie.
Quick update from me. I ate 3 times my body weight in turkey and stuffing, and I am running very low on my pumpkin spice supply for the season.
Wow. I mean, as you should, Thanksgiving, that's important. So I'm glad you did. And
the Raiders won on Thanksgiving, which I can't tell you the last time that happened.
Well, congrats.
Thank you.
That's great. I have so much pumpkin spice stuff still it's gonna last me well towards Easter.
I had some pumpkin spice eggnog that I drank the last of last night. I threw 3 shots of Jameson Reserve in it. Mwah, delightful.
All right. I mean, and now I am making the transition to peppermint because Thanksgiving is over. So
that's a transition I won't roll with you in.
Okay, right. I know. And then I go back to whatever in the new year. Usually pumpkin. So, well, good. Happy Thanksgiving, and now happy Christmas season.
Indeed.
Holiday season.
I'm 21 movies deep into Cheerathon already.
Nice. You're ahead of me, as is always the case, but it's all right.
Two things you need to get on everybody should get on their list right now. Number one, my wife and I watched one last night. It was a Netflix original called Single All the Way.
I want to see that one.
It's alarmingly sweet. You'll probably have no issue with it because the amount of Hallmark movies that you watch, and I think 1 or 2 of the people were actually involved in some of the Hallmark productions. But it's endlessly charming, and it's got some really good laughs in it. It's a cute movie. It's genuinely that holiday movie. It's a PG rating. It's great for the whole family. It's just one of those. It's some cliche stuff, of course. I mean, you can't avoid that in most holiday films, but I'd certainly give it a recommendation. It's worth your time to watch. And the other, 8-Bit Christmas, and I know there's already been conversation had about this. And for the most part, that movie, have you watched this one yet?
We watched it last night. Yesterday, I spent the day decorating for Christmas, and when my body gave out around 9:30, I was like, let's watch something Christmassy now amongst all the Christmas. And yeah, we watched 8-Bit Christmas. I loved it.
I was enjoying it. Like, there's some, it's almost like an Amblin kind of a Christmassy movie. And there's some silly stuff, and it's holiday fare. I have a tendency of being very forgiving about plot holes or silliness or suspension of disbelief, any of that stuff. I just try to roll with it and be in the most positive mood that I can. And then they went and dropped that last 10 minutes on me, and that movie is now on my annual rotation with some of the best of them because of how that movie ended.
Yep, I agree with you. I saw your review, and I think someone else chimed in as well. So I was warned, but yeah, it ends perfectly.
If there is listen, I said this on my Facebook post, but for anybody that didn't see that, if there is a Mount Rushmore for holiday movie fathers, you'll have Clark Griswold on there. You'll have the old man from A Christmas Story on there. Steve Zahn is going to be in that 4th position on this Mount Rushmore of holiday movie fathers. He's amazing.
Yeah.
That cat doesn't get enough credit as an actor anyway, but yeah, those are my 2 recommendations so far.
Nice.
Or the biggest ones anyway. And of course I got to give my annual plug to Bad Moms Christmas, because I don't know why I'm the only one that ever talks about this movie, but I think it's amazing.
I've not seen it, but maybe this is the year.
Well, it's one of those. It's never on sale. Like, I just happened to catch it on Vudu for $6.99 last week. Last year it was on Netflix, so it was easy. This year it wasn't streaming anywhere.
Ah,
So
okay.
I went ahead and bought it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to watch this, and it was going to be a fluke last year. Nope, still made me laugh my ass off for an hour and 40 minutes.
Good. All right.
And Christine
Noted.
Baranski. I mean, the whole cast, but Christine Baranski. Oh. All right.
Okay.
We have other things to talk about than holiday movies today.
We have another person to introduce, Jamie.
That's true.
We haven't even done that yet.
I know. He's just sitting over here going, what the hell did I get
He's just politely sitting there, not saying a word.
I have things to say, but I'm waiting patiently. What's going on?
Well, thank you for being patient. We have a third guest, or a third co-host today. This is someone I've been wanting to get on the show for a while now, and it's Mr. Preston Willis. Hey, Preston.
Dude, Andy, Jamie, thank you guys so much. It is an absolute honor to be with you guys today and talk some nerdy goodness and apparently some Christmas goodness, which I'm totally down for, by the way.
It all gets mixed up this time of year, and that's okay.
Yeah, pretty much from like the end of August until the first of the new year, Andy and I will constantly talk about holiday stuff.
Well, I will say I'm very excited to check out 8-Bit Christmas because I have not done so yet.
Yeah, you should. You should. It's really good. I know what JB's saying. Like it's a pretty shameless but honest ripoff of A Christmas Story. It doesn't pretend to not be.
And the Goldbergs.
But that's okay, and it's super entertaining. And then it ends so strongly. It's really good. Absolutely worth it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I look forward to that. But
I don't want to give anything away for it. I'm just going to tell you this much. My wife and I were driving to the store last weekend at the day after I watched it because she didn't watch it with me. I watched it by myself, but I'm going to fix that. They're all going to watch it with me before the end of the year. I was describing the ending of the movie to her, and I got misty.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Anyway, Preston, welcome to the show. I've been wanting to get you on here in a while. I've heard you on Grim Grinning Hosts, our pal Hunter's show, who's also part of the network. I've heard you on This Podcast Ruined My Childhood, my good friend Phil's show, which is technically not part of the network, but it's just like extended family. Like it's sort of a cousin to the show. So I've heard you on those shows, and I've been like, man, do you want to come on Holy BatCast? And you're like, are you kidding? Of course I do. And it just, of course, getting schedules to align. So I'm really glad to finally have you on here. It's been fun listening to you on those other shows. And I got to say, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. Your enthusiasm is infectious. In fact, I often get nice compliments about my enthusiasm. But next to you, I look like Larry David. Like I just feel like you on here, and then I become the Jamie Drewley. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's going to be an interesting dynamic.
But anyway, welcome to Holy BatCast, and because it's your first time on the show, tell us about your fandom and what is your favorite Batman movie?
Oh, my goodness, man. Wow, I'm on the hot seat. It's official. So, Batman fandom. Wow, where do I begin? Much like everybody, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, by the way, but much like, everybody that listens to the show, it started at a very young age for me with Batman 89. Being born in 92, Michael Keaton was Batman for me, obviously, throughout my childhood. So, man, when it comes to my favorite movie, so the question is my favorite, not what I think the best is. So, in my favorite, I have to go with 89. I do think, like Jamie, I've heard him say before, The Dark Knight is simply one of the greatest films ever, put to film. But as far as my favorite goes, I do have to go 89, I think. Just Jack Nicholson, Prince. Come on. What are you going to do?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Excellent choice. Well, it is great to have you.
By the way, I do also want to say, I discovered this show pre-BVS, and I will just say, to be able to find a couple like-minded guys that I could listen to and laugh at, especially in that time where, that was only the beginning of the divisiveness. Let's just, put that out front. But it was so cool to be able to hear you guys, and all these years later, just to be able to be on the show. Really cool opportunity.
Well, great. It's glad to have you. I'm glad you found us. Yeah. Yep. DC has been divisive ever since.
Yeah, we thought Man of Steel was bad, huh?
Yeah. DC stands for divisive content.
I mean, if you read a content or a comment section for many of DC's posts about anything that they've done in the last 6 months, you'll know that's the truth.
Yep.
I gotta stop reading comment section. I mean, it's worse than Twitter.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Real quick, I say that, I'll say this a lot. People love to slag on WB, and sometimes rightfully so. I'm not saying that, but I will say this. All that aside, talking about 8-Bit Christmas, they've had a hell of a slate this year with Dune and Malignant and Into the Heights, and like they've had some really damn good movies, and a lot of them not sequels or reboots or anything. And so, credit where credit is due.
For those of us, I know Andy probably won't join me in this camp. Preston, I have no idea if you will. They've also got the Matrix sequel coming right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Which I being a big fan of all those movies, I'm all in on that. So.
Sweet. So anyway, we got a bunch of DC news, if you're ready. So speaking of WB and their content, the first thing that we got to talk about, and it's not new news, but we finally got more info, we got some footage, we got some artwork, is that WB is producing a video game called Multiverses, and it's essentially Super Smash Brothers, but with WB IP. So if you think about all the different little planets that were in Space Jam: A New Legacy, imagine all those planets coming together not for a basketball game, but for a big brawl. And that's what this video game is. So
I was just thinking of that final battle in Ready Player One. I'm like, oh, somebody decided to make a video.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like that as Super Smash Brothers. So you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Bugs Bunny, Arya Stark, and then some of these other cartoon characters I'm not as familiar with, like Steven Universe, which I've never watched, Adventure Time, some of those. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is in this, Tom and Jerry is in this. So just a mashup of WB characters, but in a cooperative fighting game. So this is coming out next year, and here is what the head of WB Games had to say. He said, with Multiverses, we're creating a distinct competitive game that allows us to combine a deep roster of celebrated Warner Media franchises for gamers to enjoy. This is David Haddad. He says, we're partnering with the talented team at Player First Games to bring together a free-to-play online platform fighter with a wealth of iconic characters that fans know and love, from Wonder Woman and Bugs Bunny to Shaggy and Arya from Game of Thrones. This is just the beginning. We're excited to support upcoming seasons and ongoing game content. So I take that to mean that there will be other characters coming, and I hope so, because I think that's part of the fun. The other cool thing is they've got a lot of great voice talent here. So Kevin Conroy will be back as Batman. George Newbern will be back as Superman. Abby Trott is Wonder Woman, which I thought was interesting because I would have thought you'd go with Susan Eisenberg or Rachel Kimsey, but all right.
Sure.
Congrats, Abby. Tara Strong will be Harley Quinn. Matthew Lillard is Shaggy. Eric Bauza.
Matthew Lillard? What?
Love that guy.
I love Matthew Lillard. I like that. He's another one that the internet has come around and embraced and gone, oh yeah, we all love this guy. Eric Bauza, who you have heard on this show, will be doing Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry.
That's a talented cat.
He's amazing.
Yeah, man, I loved that episode.
Oh, thank you. Maisie Williams will be Arya Stark. John DiMaggio is Jake the dog. Jeremy Shada is Finn the human. So I guess that's Adventure Time. I've never watched Adventure Time either. Daniel Devanere is Steven Universe. Estelle is Garnet, also from Steven Universe. And Andrew Frankel is Rhine Dog. I don't know what Rhine Dog is.
Yeah, that last batch was just way over my head.
I know. It starts so strong. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn. Yeah, I'm with you. By the end, Rain Dog. What? Okay, you lost me. But
Turned
doesn't
into
matter.
a James Gunn movie really quick.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't speak. I don't want to demean anybody's fandom at all, but if you're playing a game and you have the option of being Batman or Rain Dog, come on now.
I mean, whoever the Rain Dog fan is out there, your day has come, and I support you.
That's right.
Anyway, so this will be out on PS5, PS4, Xbox, and then PC. Comes out next year. So, Preston, what do you think of Multiverses?
Well, I mean, it sounds pretty amazing, frankly. I will say, just from like a personal perspective, so kind of like you guys in episodes I've heard in the past, like I simply don't have time for video games these days, unfortunately. Like I try to do enough movie watching as it is. On top of that, I'm like, okay, I can't pick up the joystick. However, I'm so glad that it's going to be there for the people that are going to enjoy this and totally just bask in it. You know, growing up, I was a kind of PlayStation, Xbox guy, and so I never played like Super Smash Brothers and all those games, even though I knew they were absolutely massive. So I bet even if I tried to play this, I would really suck. But all those characters are amazing, and they should totally embrace the multiverse, right? I mean, it's right there. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it seems like that's what they've really done, especially when you see something like Space Jam, A New Legacy, and stuff like that, where they finally realized, oh, there's a lot of money to be made in the IP we've already got, especially when we can mash it up. And why can't we mash it up? So I do love that. Not just WB, but Marvel, Disney, Spider-Man, they all have been like, multiverse. We're all into the multiverse because if people get it and there's money to be made. So yeah, it's smart, just good business. Jamie, what do you think?
WB is, I mean, they're certainly loaded with faults, but to me, one of their biggest faults is they have access to so many things that they just don't seem to want to develop anything for. I mean, think about the Batman and Superman movies as opposed to Wonder Woman or Aquaman or Cyborg or Flash or, just that's just in the DC realm itself. But Warner Brothers as a whole, and correct me if I'm mistaken here, but up until Disney acquired Fox and Marvel, I don't think anybody even held a candle to what WB had in their stable as far as IPs. So the fact that it's taken this long for somebody to develop something like this seems, Disney had that one game. I can't remember what it was called, but it had like the Pixar characters, the Disney characters.
Oh, Disney Infinity.
Oh, Infinity.
Yeah.
The one
I
worked
on? That
on?
seems like a similar concept to this, only I don't think that was like a fighting game per se.
No, it wasn't. But it was similar in that you could mix up all these different parts of the Disney IP into one game as you liked.
Sure. So, I mean, the concept to me seems fascinating, honestly. It's one of those things, if it's a free online game, someday if I'm sitting in front of the laptop and I'm like bored and got a free hour or something, maybe I'll log in and check it out. But hopefully I can't stand it because that's the last thing I need is another time suck in my life right now. So.
Yeah, and the artwork or the character designs all look really good. There's footage in the announcement trailer. You'll find that on YouTube. But like it does show also that, for example, Harley Quinn has multiple looks. So you go with the very classic Harley Quinn look,
Nice.
the pigtails, there are different looks for each character, which is pretty standard in fighting games these days. Same thing, there was a lot of different versions of Shaggy. So all of that is very fun, very cool. And again, I like the initial stable of characters, but to add even more, I think is really fun. So that's all great. Like you guys say, I don't spend a lot of time with video games and I don't have a PS4 or a PS5 yet. I just got my PS3 fixed. Fun story.
Oh, wow.
But, if I have the means to play this, I do want to play it because it does look really cool. It looks really fun. But now I just want them to essentially take the same idea and do a Mario Kart ripoff. Because if you got your Smash Brothers, like give me a Warner Brothers Media Mario Kart, where I can race as Batman in the Batmobile against Tom and Jerry in Metropolis. Like bring that on.
Dude, put the mystery machine in there.
Heck yeah, exactly.
Superman has, you remember that little like spaceship looking thing that Superman had with the fists out in front of
him? Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, the invisible jet.
Oh,
man.
Joker van, come on.
So
boys,
true.
I think we found our calling.
That's it.
So anyway, it's really cool. I think it's fun. Looking forward to seeing more, and I hope I have access to play it because it does look cool. And these are those types of games that you can play for 15 minutes and turn off because you just play for a couple fights, and it's not like the ones that you get sucked in and they eat up your whole week. So anyway, that's cool. Always nice when Kevin Conroy is back voicing Batman, but it seems like he's never done. And at Comic-Con last weekend, which took place over Thanksgiving weekend, Catherine and I considered going because we were in LA, but we realized it was our last day in town. And when it was like, Do we spend time with friends and family, or do we drive down to Comic-Con? We chose friends and family. Maybe it's just the Christmas spirit.
Priorities.
Yeah. Maybe I've watched too many Hallmark movies and I realized that family needs to come first.
Shame.
So we did not go
That's
down.
it. That's the movie we're going to do, a Comic-Con Christmas.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Count me in. Fall in love in the Hall H line. Anyway, so Kevin Conroy was there, and there was a history of the Batman panel, and he said that he is doing an audio series of Batman the Animated Series, along with John Glover as the Riddler. So they didn't give a lot of details. They just said that this is coming. Don't know where it's coming to, but Alan Burnett is writing it. And so Kevin Conroy says it's a great script by Alan Burnett. It brings back the original cast. And then John Glover says the Riddler's back and he's evolved in many ways. He understands he's on the spectrum. So we don't know who else is joining Glover and Conroy, but any return to the world of Batman the Animated Series is A-OK by me. So an interesting little tidbit and curious as to what this is going to shape up to be. Preston, what do you think?
Dude, that's so exciting. I actually hadn't heard that yet, so that's news to me. But I mean, kind of being into that Max original, Batman the Audio Adventures recently, that's awesome. Like, I really look forward to hearing that. Yeah, Kevin Conroy, I will take his voice as Batman any day, that's for sure.
Oh, FYI, since you mentioned it, the Batman Audio Adventures, which is a hoot. Again, recommend to anybody out there to check that out. I went to the comic shop when I was back home in California, or back in California, I guess home is here now. But I went back and they had a Audio Adventures special edition comic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I picked that up because I want to read that along with the Audio Adventures. So I thought that was pretty fun too.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. Jamie, what did you think about a return in some form of Batman the Animated Series?
The news of those returns is certainly, perking the ears up, no doubt. But immediately when you were saying that, my mind went to, I wonder if they're doing something along the lines of that radio drama thing on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Because to me, the only two things that you would get that kind of firepower for would be that, or if you're going to do some kind of a really big WB sponsored podcast.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm certainly intrigued to hear more and see where that goes. I have not participated in that Audio Adventures yet. It's not for lack of desire. It's for lack of remembering it's there when I have any free time, which is very rare at the moment. But
well, it is worth listening to. But what I learned is the first two episodes they put on all the podcast platforms, like iTunes, and so I was able to just download it to my phone and listen to it like any podcast, and that was great. But then every other episode was only on HBO Max. So it's like they did the other one, the first two, to get you hooked or just to give you a sample. But then for me, I have much more time to listen to it if I'm in my car than to watch it on HBO Max. So I haven't gotten as deep as a lot of other people because of that. I need to go back to it.
I'm the same situation.
Yeah. When it first popped up on Apple Podcasts, I was like, oh, perfect, great. I'll just listen to it this way. And then, it was just the first two. So FYI. But what's crazy is that, and we've talked about it on the show in the past, is they love revisiting Batman the Animated Series, as well they should. It's amazing. But, they brought back the comic version with The Adventures Continue. Now they're going to do some sort of audio version. They constantly talk about it. It's like, at what point do you just pull the trigger and just resurrect the series? Disney is doing it with X-Men the Animated Series, which I'm all for. I can't wait to see that. Yeah. But I'm like, if you're going to keep just having one foot in to resurrecting the animated series, just go all in and bring it back.
Cannonball. Let's do it.
Yeah, come on. But anyway, we'll see if that shows up on HBO Max. But one thing that's going to show up on HBO Max in 5 days, what's today's date? Yep, in 5 days, is Stargirl Season 2. So for everybody out there, this is just more of a heads up. For everybody out there who's just been waiting to watch Season 2 until it hits HBO Max, your time has come. Comes up on December 10th. But I've already watched it. I just bought it because it was on sale for $9.99 for the season. And 2 weeks ago, the week before Thanksgiving, I was homesick for an entire week. I just got this nasty cold that knocked me out. So I had a lot of time on the couch, and I used that time to watch season 2 of Stargirl. and quite a few Hallmark Christmas movies, if I'm being honest. But anyway, so yeah, Stargirl Season 2 is coming to HBO Max if you have not watched it. I loved Season 2. I thought it was great. I thought it was almost as good as Season 1. Absolutely worth your time. There's some really great stuff in there, so check that out. Preston, did you watch Stargirl at all?
Buddy, no. I was just going to say, like, I haven't. I haven't seen any of Stargirl.
Right. There's a lot out there.
There's a lot of stuff out there, and I do know it's been really highly praised. Jamie, you're a fan of Stargirl, right? Have you seen the new season?
I like the first season, and that's the only one I've seen so far. I think the cast is really solid. I like the story ideas and the boldness of some of the choices that they're making, and doing things that very few other people seem to have done in the superhero genre. But I unfortunately don't have a availability to just watch regular TV like I used to. I cut the cord. I do everything digital now, and most of those CW shows just kind of went by the wayside for me. So now that this has popped up on HBO Max, again, finding the time to do it is one thing, but that will be one. I don't know if I'm going to put it like a top of the stack priority because I've got Young Justice to watch. I've got Titans. I still got to finish that. There's so many things I have to watch. So I like everything I've seen from it. And from all accounts that I've seen, season 2 went above and beyond what season 1 did. So I am certainly curious to see what all the fuss was about.
Right. Just two super quick things. You could always watch 45 minutes of commercials on the CW app. There is that.
Right.
I don't do that. At all, ever.
And yeah, it's awful. But secondly, not to totally go on a side deal here, but the one show recently, DC wise, that I really got into and I was really blown away by was Superman and Lois. I mean, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
it's another one
it was
I
really
still
good.
haven't done.
Agreed. Well, I will say this about Stargirl season 2. The Shade is in the entire season. And the Shade is a character I don't know. I certainly have had passing knowledge of, but I never really thought twice about. He is the best. By the time season 2 ended, I was like, man, the Shade just might be my new favorite character. He's so good in this. So they do some really great things in season 2. It's definitely worth your time, especially if you like season 1. And yeah, it'll be much easier on HBO Max because I did consider that, Preston, when it came back, because I loved season 1 where I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch it on the CW app, but it's a pain in the ass. And you're right. I was like, or I'll just wait. And so, yeah. There you have it. Well, it's good.
The amazing thing about being vacant from most social media platforms, I run very little risk of spoilers.
Yeah.
So I can afford to wait 45 days for a movie to go from theater to a digital streaming format, or a TV series to finish up its, broadcast run and then show up on a streaming service. I can afford to do that because I'm not worried about somebody telling me something I don't want to know first. It's great. It's wonderful.
No, that's good. So, well, there's your heads up. Stargirl Season 2 coming to HBO Max. 5 days. But maybe wait till after Christmas so it doesn't interrupt your cheer-a-thon.
There we go. I like that.
Anyway, coming to HBO Max is The Peacemaker. So we got a new trailer for Peacemaker. Peacemaker comes out on January 13th on HBO Max, and this is like the first full trailer. I feel like we got another one a few months ago that was like a minute, but this is a full 3-minute trailer. And this one, it's funny, it came out and I think it even escaped my view. Maybe it was because it came out the week of Thanksgiving and I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I sort of missed it as well until I was prepping for this episode. And I was like, oh crap, look at that, full Peacemaker trailer. So made you guys watch it. Thank you guys for the last minute watch. And Preston, I want to hear your thoughts about this new trailer for The Peacemaker.
Wow, man. Okay, so I'm going to channel some Young Justice here and say I'm pretty whelmed with excitement for this series. So it is what it is, right? I mean, it's John Cena. It feels very James Gunny, whether you love it or hate it. I do look forward to it. I hope it's good. I hope, again, I kind of hinted at this with series in general, just time and all that good stuff. I really hope it's not one of these things where I watch the first couple and then just kind of fall off the bandwagon. I hope I can actually stick to it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of laughs. I enjoyed, relatively speaking, his interpretation in the Suicide Squad most recently. Pretty good trailer, right? It's very formulaic trailer 2021 where let's pick like a really cool song and just edit it that way. There's actually a movie we're going to be talking about coming up here in a little bit that does the same thing, but all trailers these days, right? But I will say on a bit of a specific note with it, I totally maybe missed or forgot that Robert Patrick was in this, and that was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, that was a standout, but it looks fun, I guess. Jamie, I'm excited to hear what Jamie thinks. I'm really.
I'll tell you, I have a hunch. I have a pretty good guess what he thinks, but I'd love to hear him say it.
I'm kind of split on this trailer. I'm of a couple different minds about it, and here we go. I think this was a significantly better trailer than that first one, because it shows me that this isn't all just going to be that clown shoes humor from Gunn that I can't stand the sight or sound of.
Sure.
So I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you just show me this and not show me that other trailer, and I'd be happier, thinking that this was going to be good. And I'm like, no, I'm really glad they showed me the other trailer first, because that keeps me from getting my hopes up that this is going to be something different. But this one at least shows me there might be some things in there that I'm going to appreciate, instead of just sitting there banging my head into a wall the whole time I'm trying to watch however much of it I can manage to get through before I lose my sanity completely. I think this shows more of an emotional side, more of a character side, the things that interest me far more than that silly humor. And listen, there's nothing wrong with silly humor. There's a lot of people out there that really appreciated, the prime example, not right now, being the Suicide Squad. I did not care for that movie at all. But you know what? I don't have to watch it. It's not something that I'm required to watch. And if everybody else enjoys it, great, more power to them. The same thing with this series. If it's
You're
not
required to
something I
watch
like,
it anytime I force you for the show. So when we do a commentary in 5 years,
there we go.
You will be forced to watch it. Sorry about it.
Yeah. I might need more pumpkin spice for that.
I'll send you a gift card.
But there was some humor in this, and it just, I don't know. To me, this just seemed more of a balanced trailer versus trying to be in your face and obnoxious. I think this looks like more of something that I would be interested in watching than what the first trailer showed me.
All right, well, that's improvement. Okay.
So I'm still not over the hill excited, or over the moon excited about it, but I'm more cautiously optimistic than I was after the first trailer.
Nice.
Right. Okay, cool. Interesting. So I'm where you are, Preston. I'm whelmed. It looks fine. It looks entertaining enough. I will certainly watch it when it comes out. But yeah, it's one of those where I'm just kind of like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
It's not enough to get me really excited, not counting down the days, but of course I'll watch it, and I think I will be entertained by it. I still, I'm still having a little bit of trouble because I still am mad at him for what he did in the Suicide Squad.
Oh man, no kidding.
It's
right?
It's such an interesting choice to be like, hey, like this guy we worked really hard to make you hate in the movie. Now we want you to commit to 8 episodes of watching him in a show. Like,
yeah.
For me, that's a disconnect. But for a lot of people, they went, oh, I love Peacemaker, so that's great. But for me, I was like, no, F that guy. I don't want to watch him continue. I was happy when it looked like he maybe was dead, and then of course he wasn't. But obviously, based on this trailer, the whole show is about redeeming him and showing growth and all that. But like,
right.
The moment in the trailer where he's like, I can't kill kids. I mean, that was literally the argument of Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad. Literally, that was the argument. And he was like, don't care. Peace must be maintained. So I'm like, all right. I mean, sure. Growth, development. Got it. But yeah, so that is holding me back a little bit where I'm like, he's an a-hole. But obviously, he's on the path to redemption here.
Well, I mean, Harley was an accomplice in the murder to Robin, and you seem to like her well enough in these movies.
Well, this is true, but I didn't watch it happen.
Fair enough.
That's different,
And I mean, speaking of like specific lines, like, and I think it's even referenced in the trailer, but like we again, quite literally hear the line, like, I don't care how many men, women, children I have to kill to, attain peace, basically. I'm going to make that happen. So, I will say another follow-up from the Suicide Squad. For fans of John Cena and Whitey Tighties, it looks like we have another sequence of that. So
I thought the same thing. Is they're like, the underwear scene was a big hit in the Suicide Squad, so here you get a whole underwear action sequence.
That's it.
So
listen, if I had his build, I wouldn't own pants or a shirt.
Hey,
true.
I support it. Also, just a fun little side note. Have you seen like the new poster that came with this trailer? It has the blonde lady like straight up front. She was like, she had a small part in the Suicide Squad in the control room, but it seems like she's like one of the leads here. That's James Gunn's girlfriend.
No way.
Yep. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, so he's like, I'll do a Peacemaker show, but my girlfriend gets to be a co-lead with John Cena.
That's right.
So
she's the Sherry Moon zombie of the DC universe.
There you go. But anyway, and then I think Vigilante looks like a lot of fun. I don't know Vigilante well enough from the comics. Like, I remember how he looked, but I don't know anything about his personality, so I don't know if this is actually accurate to who Vigilante is. Kind of this nerdy, I guess he seems just dumb, right? Like, nerdy dumb guy, kind of aloof. I don't know if that's accurate to what Vigilante's supposed to be, but it seems entertaining in this context, and I think his costume looks great, so I'm looking forward to learning about him too. So
the slight bit of that I got out of that character from this trailer is, I wonder if they're making fun of Deadpool with this guy, because I really hope so.
I didn't even think that, but it's possible. I could see that.
And who's the actor that's playing him? Should I know who that guy is?
I don't know him, but he is. Oh my god, I had it right in front of me. Freddie Stroma?
No, not a name I know either.
Yeah, I don't know him either. But he looks fun.
I'm calling it right now. My favorite character in the show is the friggin' Eagle.
Oh, man. Yeah, good call.
So, yeah, it's one of those where it's like, of course I'll watch it. I'll probably like it well enough. But yeah, I wish I was more excited than I am. I'm just at the point where the needle hasn't moved for me with any of the trailers, any of the footage. It's all just been a mild curiosity. And a intent to watch.
Seeing as how we curate these pop culture groups on Facebook that have to do with movies and TV and comics and all this other stuff, and nobody seems to have posted this trailer in that group that I've seen, tells me how much attention people are paying to this project.
Yeah,
because usually our people in these circles that we run around in, if there's DC news, they'll post it 2 minutes before Warner Brothers does. That's how on top of things they are.
Yeah. I wondered about that. Like, did I miss this because I was just distracted, or did it just not make much of a ripple online? I don't know.
Yeah, much like you, like, as far as the release goes, I just remember waking up, kind of doing the phone scroll, and just stumbling across it like one morning. So yeah, it was a pretty quiet drop.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see January 13th, but that's good. Like, something to look forward to in the new year. I hate January. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I hate January because it's like, and all the holidays are over. Now back to mundane day-to-day life. It's the worst. God. So if there's something fun to look forward to in January, that's always a plus for me.
Absolutely.
So something else to look forward to, but probably not in January. Who knows when this will happen? Who knows if it'll happen? But you know how DC goes. They announce things in development, and then you never hear from them again. That's all right. We've learned. But something else that is apparently in development is
Steven Spielberg Blackhawks movie.
Oh,
ooh.
Speaking of, no, this is an animated version of The Metal Men. So it is an animated film of The Metal Men, and this was reported by The Hollywood Reporter. Ron Clements and John Musker, who are Disney royalty, they did many of the films that were part of the Disney Renaissance, including The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, Treasure Planet, The Princess and the Frog. They've done a lot of amazing Disney films, and they retired from Disney after Moana. Moana was supposed to be their last hurrah. But they're working on this, The Metal Men. They are going to produce the film. They've already written a treatment. And then Celesta Ballard, who worked on Space Jam: A New Legacy, is going to write the actual script for Warner Animation. And as well she should. Space Jam: A New Legacy, I think what everyone loved about it was the script. Eh? Okay.
Yeah, it was there.
There were words that made the movie happen.
I will say, to be fair, I didn't hate it as much as everyone else did, but I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, neither did I. I actually think I'm one of its biggest supporters.
Okay, that's kind of cool to hear then.
Yeah, because
awesome.
I don't think it's a good movie, but I also think it's like a harmless, stupid, guilty pleasure fun movie.
I mean, come on, it's not much better than the first one, for crying out loud.
That's been my point the whole time. Is I was like, y'all just don't realize the first one's not very good. This
I was
one's
going to say, people treat that first one like it's some kind of a Mount Rushmore of animated movies mixed with live action stuff. It's like,
no, ma'am.
Okay. I've never even seen it, and I know better than that.
It is only a movie in the loosest sense of the word.
Yeah.
It was directed. It was directed by someone who directed Nike commercials, and it's a commercial.
I was going to say the whole thing reeks of commercialism.
Yeah, it's a commercial. The second one, again, isn't much better, but it's not worse.
Dude, and the fact that he came out like publicly and essentially called the sequel a disgrace upon its release made me laugh a lot. The director.
The director of the first movie?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, girl, please.
Oh, he went off.
Give me
went off. It was ridiculous.
Okay, what's the old adage? Don't throw stones, glass houses, that whole thing.
Oh, especially when you're living in a shitty house.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Anyway, sorry.
Don't apologize for that, please.
Sorry for the Space Jam tangent. The point is, Metal Men, Ron Clements, John Musker, and Celesta Ballard. No info on whether or not this is HBO Max, whether this is theatrical. It is Warner Animation Group who does do the theatrical films. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, Musker and Clemens is like, it already got my attention, is a huge plus. And I also feel like the Metal Men as a IP benefits from an animated film. Like I would watch the hell out of any film, live action or otherwise, of Metal Men, but I feel like if you're looking at the different DC properties and you go, what makes sense for animation, I can totally see why Metal Men would be one that would jump out at you. So if this...
trying to do that live action would be such a budget killer.
It would be super expensive, whereas animation, you could then do whatever you want. Go crazy. Yeah. So if this ever becomes real, I'm into it. But it's, it's one of those where you go, oh, that could be fun. We'll see if anything ever comes of it. But I'm down.
Hey, we never thought that Joaquin Joker movie was going to happen.
You never can tell.
Yeah. Yeah, Andy, I was like super intrigued to hear, kind of what you were thinking on this. I mean, and you essentially said as much, but just with those guys being involved, right? I mean, I know your thoughts on Treasure Planet and a lot of those films, and I'm in line with those, by the way. So that really caught my eye when I saw that they were kind of taking a swing at this. Like you said, I hope it actually comes to fruition.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's cool that they're older, but they're not, they're not knocking on heaven's door just yet. And so even though they walked away from Disney and they're like, yeah, we're going to retire from Disney for a while, the fact that they're like, the WB is like, hey, you want to help develop this for us? I think is smart on WB's part, and love to hear that they still want to keep working in one capacity or another.
Yeah.
All right. Any additional thoughts on that, Jamie?
I don't have a lot of familiarity with the Metal Men. I'm aware of them, who they are, more or less. I think probably my biggest thing with them is I'm that one fan of that Justice League Gods and Monsters.
Oh yeah,
and they had that. Of course, that's a skewed version of everybody in that film, so I shouldn't base a lot of it on there. But I really liked what I saw from the Metal Men in that. So, I mean, animation, like you said, the sky's the limit on whatever they want to do. I mean, literally, all you have to do is imagine it and put it down on paper, computer, whatever it is you're going to animate it on, and I'm certainly intrigued.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And if it can be as good and musical as The Princess and the Frog, more power to it. Set the damn thing in New Orleans while we're at it.
So they don't have to dig a little deeper. They just have to stretch a little farther.
By the way, loved hearing you on that Disorder podcast, Jamie. That was awesome.
Y'all from Shreveport?
Yeah. So we'll see if it happens. It could be cool. Oh, the other thing, what I was going to say is, if for anyone looking for a very quick crash course in the Metal Men, there's a great Brave and the Bold that's all about them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know which episode it is offhand. You have Google, look it up.
Yes.
But it's definitely worth it. So it's a nice little, a nice way to get to know them very well, really quick. And it's a great episode in and of itself.
I'm looking that up as we speak. I'm going to have to check that out.
Because it's Batman the Brave and the Bold. Of course, it's a great episode. So that is from Warner Animation Group. And I like that they are digging into the DC stable to figure out new projects. Smart, take advantage of your IP. And the first big swing at that is the DC League of Super Pets. And now we finally have a full trailer for this movie. It's coming out in May of next year, and so we got the first full trailer just in time for the holidays this year, which means I'm sure we will get another trailer closer to release in the spring. But now that we've seen a first trailer of Super Pets, Preston, I don't know how you feel about this project at all, but certainly want to hear what you think of the trailer.
Yes, I mean, just to preface, pretty much what you guys have thought all along. Like, when that announcement was made, it was like, what? And then I don't think we got a ton at Fandom, if I'm not mistaken. I'm surprised we didn't get, a trailer.
No, it was just like a literal teaser where I think they revealed Ace and Kevin Hart. I think that was it.
That's right. That's exactly right. I remember that now. Yeah, because it was nothing but a lot of just graphics and stuff. Okay, so kind of with that said, it's like, I'll probably see it. I mean, hell, I went and saw Teen Titans Go to the Movies opening weekend. I'm not going to miss out on this. But I will say, man, after watching this trailer, this looks like a lot of fun. They obviously have a lot of voice talent involved. I'm a big dog guy just in general. I'm literally sitting here recording right now with my big husky at my feet. He's the man. His name's Denver. But no, I mean, it just looks cute. It looks funny. It a few moments genuinely made me laugh a little bit, and I'll be there. It's got my money.
All right, nice. Jamie?
I actually caught this trailer in front of Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Me too.
A week or two ago when I saw it.
Yeah.
And the trailer started, and I thought, oh, God, it's another Secret Life of Pets movie. And then he, picks Superman up and is, flying and dangling him from the leash. I'm like, oh. And, there's obviously some very child-aimed humor going on there, which, my brain actually works towards sometime, believe it or not. I got a couple chuckles out of this. I don't think it looks like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I don't think it's something that I'm really chomping at the bit to get out to the theater and see, but it looks cute enough. The Easter eggs seem like they're going to be okay with it. You just catch a real quick glimpse of some of the Justice League as they're mentioned in passing there. And, that classic look for Cyborg I thought was really cool because I haven't seen that look for a while. So, hats off to that. Kevin Hart's Ace talking about, how much did you have to drink? And, first of all, they start off by doing the pee thing. And I'm like, all right, bathroom humor. I'm a little over that. But then they're like, how much did you have to drink? He's like, 2 big bowls and a bidet. He's like, you ever had a bidet? It's like a drinking fountain for dogs. That made me laugh.
Yeah.
That legitimately made me laugh. So, yeah, it looks like exactly what it's setting out to be, honestly. The squirrel zapping the lightning out of its fingers like Emperor Palpatine, I thought was pretty funny. It's going to be interesting. Not something I don't know if I'm going to make a theater trip to see this. If my kids were still younger and in that demographic that this is truly aimed for, yeah, I'm probably there opening day. But since my daughters are now 16 and my son's now 13, I can't imagine any of them being interested in seeing this, and I don't want to be the creepy guy sitting out there all by myself and full of kids, So
that was me at Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah, exactly.
It was me by myself and a bunch of families.
Dude,
I just brought candy to give to the kids so nobody would be concerned.
Did you drive your van?
I did. I brought my nice white van. No windows because I hate the sun.
My whole family was there opening weekend for Teen Titans Go to the Movies, and my whole family, even my wife, who hates everything, loves that movie.
That's awesome. There's one line of this, by the way, I wanted to make note of really quick. Another moment that made me laugh was that exchange like outside of the store where those two dogs are on the sidewalk, and the one says, "What is taking my owner so long?" Okay, that's how I feel talking to other guys when my wife is shopping. That's the exact same situation.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. I think this looks really fun. I said it before, but when they first gave us the animation of what Crypto was going to look like, that was the first thing that got me excited because I was like, oh, he looks great. The animation looks really good. The character designs are very good. So that is awesome. And now seeing the actual world, because up until now, it's just been the characters on a black background or a white background, right? We haven't seen anything else. Now we finally get to see other things. We get to see the world. We get to see Metropolis. We get to see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg. That Cyborg shot is so quick, but Joyvan Wade, who plays Cyborg in Doom Patrol, even tweeted it out because they did a quick little cutaway in Doom Patrol where he had an afro and he's like, look at that. And I thought that was fun.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, but I think it looks really fun. I really love the animation. I think the animation looks great. I like the glimpses we got of the DC heroes here, especially Superman. I think Superman looks awesome. The story conceit is not what I was expecting, where obviously we know Crypto is the main character, but I wasn't expecting the other, like basically here they show that all the other animals were in a shelter at the same time and they all gained powers at the same time. I thought they were already going to be the pets of the heroes, and it seems like that's not the case. It seems like Crypto is the only pet at the beginning. Then he meets these other ones, they get powers, and I think towards the end of the movie they will all get adopted by their heroes. So I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but at the same time, like, well, where else is the pig gonna come from? There's been no pig in any DC comic that I know of, and there's been no super fast turtle. So all that I think is really fun. It'll just be
the turtle being called Shell on Wheels was kind of fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all of that then overlaps with the heroes themselves. It was cool seeing Lex Luthor in here. So I think the animation looks good. The story is interesting. I just hope we get enough other DC stuff. I don't want it to just be a super powered Life of Pets. And then the humor I think is cute enough. But yeah, like I wouldn't say it got real big laughs, but I was just like, oh, okay, that's cute. And then we also learned that John Krasinski is Superman in this. So because of this, we finally got some roles for some of these voice actors that we knew were going to be in the film. So we already knew about Dwayne Johnson as Crypto and Kevin Hart as Ace, but Diego Luna is Chip, who I guess is the little squirrel. Natasha Lyonne is Merton, the Flash's turtle. Vanessa Bayer is PB, Wonder Woman's pig. Then John Krasinski is Superman, and Mark Maron is Lex Luthor. We still don't know who Kate McKinnon, Keanu Reeves are going to be playing.
That's awesome. I love that Keanu Reeves is in this.
Make him Batman.
Right?
Like, isn't that the right choice?
Come on.
And maybe that makes Kate McKinnon Wonder Woman?
These all make sense to me.
Just making guesses. But yeah. So anyway, I am looking forward to it. I do think it looks really fun. I will go to the theater as long as I can break away from my child, who will only be a couple months old.
Best of luck to you in this endeavor.
Yeah, just waiting to see what turn my life is about to take. But yeah, the other day I recorded with Brendan and I said something about scheduling. And he goes, dude, it's about to get so much worse for you. And I'm like, that's not true. I'm like, my kid's going to be way less trouble than your kid.
Well, Preston's from Kentucky. He can probably back me up on this. Throw just a little bit of bourbon in the bottom of the bottle. Shake it up real good, and then give it to them at mealtime, and then record immediately thereafter because you'll have about 2 hours apiece.
All right.
I mean, That's how I was raised, and I like to think I turned out okay. So there you go.
See what I mean? Look how positive and enthusiastic bourbon makes people.
Okay, good. I mean, I will break away for the Batman. Like, I have to, and I'm sure Catherine will support me in this. But
oh yeah,
DC League of Super Pets might have to wait.
Does anybody but me get the feeling that some gatekeeping DC purist has already written a 1-star review for this on IMDb?
Oh, dude, I have to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, Andy, but I was already thinking that. And I was already thinking that when the trailer started, when I heard the original Superman music. I'm like, are people going to be outraged by this? Like, I genuinely did.
I'm sure, but come on.
That's like the attack that's being waged against that Santa Inc. show on HBO Max, which I find that show funny. It's not a great show, don't get me wrong. It's simply not, but it's got some humorous moments. But the reviews all tend to be people that turned it on thinking it was something that was going to babysit their kids while they bake Christmas cookies.
Oh no!
Oh, is it like Sausage Party?
Anti-Semitic. So yeah.
Well, I kind of look forward to checking that out in that case.
I don't even want to repeat what was said, but I sent a screen cap to the Real Fans admin chat. Andy, I don't know if you saw it, but the thing that they said about Seth Rogen's grandparents, holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well.
Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole thing about that, but, people, stop being mad about everything. If you don't like something, just don't watch it. It's that easy.
God. Well, anyway, I am looking forward to DC League of Super Pets, and this is one of those great times where they announce something and we all go, huh? And then the more we see of it, we go, oh, that's actually really cool. So just goes to show, like our minds can be changed.
That's right. Just give it a chance.
So.
And all we have to do is question whether or not something's going to exist, and it pops right into production.
Yeah, we just have to keep saying that. Because, it's
Super
probably another
movie. Really? They're going to go through with this? Bam. There it is.
By the way, Jamie, is the Flash movie happening yet?
Nope. No trailer, no movie.
Oh, my God. This guy. Anyway, so it's nice to get a full trailer for Super Pets, not just a tease. But do you know who likes to tease us? Zack Snyder.
Oh,
he's a tease. Guy. You tease.
Love that guy.
I love that guy too, but he was just celebrating Thanksgiving, just having a wonderful Thanksgiving day, making the turkey at home. And he just posted a picture of his turkey. Fair enough.
That's it, right? Nothing in the background.
Totally innocent.
I mean, that's what stuff like Instagram's for, right? Pictures of food and pets.
Yeah, just innocent. Like, here's my turkey. I worked real hard on it. I'm very proud of it. And the internet goes crazy. Because behind the turkey, blurry, but it's there, is the omnibus of Final Crisis. And so, DC fandom is like, oh my God, what is he telling us? What is he saying? His caption only says thankful. So is he thankful for turkeys? Is he thankful for comic books and Final Crisis? Is he thankful for both? I don't know, but it's fun to think. But what's funny is like certain fans, they all like went out of their way to buy Final Crisis because of this and like drove the prices up. So I saw people posting like screen grabs of like trying to buy Final Crisis and it was like $170. And I was like, what the hell?
What?
That's crazy.
My God.
So,
if you have DC Universe.
Right? Exactly. So I've never read Final Crisis, but it does make me go, oh, let me see it's on DC Universe and I'll read it and check it out. So this is one of those things, like he doesn't do anything by accident, but he also likes to, toy with us a bit. So anyway, what do you think, Preston? Do I start buying tickets to Zack Snyder's Final Crisis? Should I do that now?
Man, go ahead and give him your money. I don't know if we should go that far, man. I will say this guy, he has a genius. He really does. He can get people talking and get trending at the snap of fingers. And he's so subtle while doing it. That's what's really interesting. He's not like a super attention person, right? He certainly doesn't seem that way by all accounts. It's just a great dude, humble and all the rest. But it's just amazing that he can send out one image and just turn a fan base into a frenzy. Now, I will say I'm totally here for it, by the way. I'm one of those fans. Oh my gosh. I mean, hey, I'm a part of the club. Like, give him the keys. Like, let him do what he wants. Of course, whether or not that'll happen is a completely different conversation. Jamie, what are you thinking, man?
This is the first I've heard of this. So,
well.
You're living your peaceful life away from Twitter. You don't see any of this stuff.
That's right. And good on you for it.
Again, I would have thought somebody would have posted this in the movie group or something, but I didn't see it. Anyway, listen, say what you will about Zack Snyder. I'm one of the guy's biggest fans. I adore his work. I truly do. And I do think he's at times a misunderstood genius. That guy loves to make his fans and his audience think for themselves. Say whatever you want to about him. Not very many people are that interested in making people think for themselves versus smacking them in the face with something. And I know he's got some imagery and stuff that people say will do that, and you're probably right. But I agree with what Preston's saying. I mean, how many people out there with a snapshot can get the internet in a tizzy like that? And I'm sure it's a 50-50 split on positive and negative tizzy at that. But if this is somehow hinting at maybe doing some sort of conclusion to his Justice League quadrilogy or whatever you want to call it at this point, here for it. Make it 7 hours long. I do not care.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, is he likes to toy with people. He likes to tease people. I mean, I'm just saying what you guys have already said. We're all on the same page here. We know. So I'm not going to get in line. I'm not going to get a tattoo that says Zack Snyder's Final Crisis on my left
shit.
bicep.
I already did that.
Did you?
I did. I just couldn't wait.
Gotta be patient about this stuff, Andy. You gotta be patient.
Got it on his face.
Yeah, I did. I get it as my eyebrows, actually. I shaved my eyebrows, and then one eyebrow says Zack Snyder's, the other one says Final Crisis.
I do have that back mural of Baby Doll in the superhero pose with the sword and the pistol that says "Sucker Punch is misunderstood genius." So there is that.
Man,
I freaking love that movie. Anyway, definitely interested if he's doing it. If it's, I mean, I'm all aboard if he's doing it. If it's something that book just, I mean, it's not coincidence the book was there. Maybe he's just telling everybody what he's reading right now. Maybe he's trying to gauge some kind of a reaction.
Right.
Who the hell but him knows? And he hasn't told anybody. It's just him. That's it. You know, he took the picture himself. Undoubtedly, he's a gifted photographer himself. So
he's also a gifted turkey baster.
Is he?
If this picture is any indication.
Sweet.
Definitely a butterball.
I'll have to look it up. But, you know, I do an HBO Max miniseries for it. Do whatever you want to give us that conclusion that we've all kind of hoped after the Justice League being released was going to happen. And, you know, while we're at it, get us the Suicide Squad cut that we've all asked for that apparently nobody's interested in having. And I hate being wrong about that. I figured that would have already been.
Oh man.
Well, and what's so weird about that one is, like, it sounds like it's all but finished. Like it wouldn't take, like, Zack Snyder's Justice League was a huge investment to finish, $70 million, right? It sounds like the Suicide Squad Suicide Squad, the Ayer cut is like pretty much done, which makes it even more puzzling.
And, like, depending on how you look at it, I mean, with the release of, you know, the Suicide Squad, you know, on HBO Max and stuff, I mean, would that not have been a perfect time to release it? I mean, I know you don't want to muddy the waters. That's probably the con of it, but, like, come on. I'm like, that's just easy money right there.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But no, I mean, I agree with you guys as well. It's one of those things where it's fun. I'm not holding my breath. I hope it does mean something. I would be shocked if it was truly a live action film follow-up. But I've been wrong before, and I hope I'm wrong here. I don't know. That's the best case scenario.
If he gets it done as an animated movie and gets, you know, 80% of the cast to do the voices, I can accept that.
Right, exactly.
That'd be awesome.
So it could be something like that. It could be a graphic novel version. It could be an animated version. I mean, and yeah, the dream of dreams is to get an actual film version of the conclusion of this story. All of them are on the table, along with this turkey. But who knows? who knows what's in the works? Who knows what conversations are happening? And who knows what his schedule looks like right now because of the movies he's making for Netflix. So it's fun to speculate. I hope to God it's something, some sort of conclusion. You're leaving me hanging, but we just have to wait and see.
HBO Max wants and needs content. I mean,
yeah.
And they literally have a DC hub. It is like the number one thing when you scroll down to the hub sections. DC is right there. There's like 8 or 10 things there, and DC is the first one. Mm-hmm. So please tell me that they don't have an interest in getting any project that they can up and rolling on that service. Batgirl and. If this Metal Men things come to fruition, it seems to me that HBO Max is ideal for that. It makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense for them to search for this content. And I'm sure the Zack Snyder's Justice League got some kind of a return for them. If nothing else, it had people talking for a month straight.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Man, Andy, I'm still jealous you got to meet Zack Snyder, man. He seems like an awesome dude.
Yeah, yes, he certainly was. And then by all accounts of everybody who's ever worked with him, when I met him was not a fluke. He's just a great guy. So support him 100%.
When you have somebody that gets that kind of a return for people that want to work with him, that means one of two things, if not both. He's either a pure cinematic genius or he's a delight to work with, or like I say, maybe both in those people's perspective.
Yeah.
But, we've talked to Richard on several occasions, on the show and off the show, and Richard has nothing but positive things to say about Zack Snyder.
Man, talk about another good guy. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Absolutely. So it's got to be a wait and see, but hey, I'll take it. Hope isn't a bad thing. We'll hope that more comes of this. In the meantime, it gives me some reading homework on DC Universe. So that may be coming, maybe someday to HBO Max.
That's a Grant Morrison story, so
great.
Buckle up.
Okay. But something that's definitely coming to HBO Max sooner than later. This happened quick, and I am all for it. Batgirl has started production.
And it's a Christmas movie.
And it might be a Christmas movie. So yes.
That's awesome.
When was it? On November 30th, one of the co-directors, Bilal Fallah, posted on Instagram day one of production for Batgirl.
Back that up. What did you say?
What?
what was that name?
Bilal Fallah.
Okay. It sounded like you were talking with a mouthful of yogurt when you said it the first time. That's why I had to have you repeat it.
That's the name. It was the co-directors of Bad Boys for Life. Which was great.
That was successful, yeah.
I never got past the first one, so we're good.
Don't watch the second one, but the third one was so much better than I think anyone expected.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they started production last week, and they posted this photo of the clapboard, Batgirl, and then, it's on a desk. On the desk, it says Officer Barbara Gordon. In the background is some garland and some paper snowflakes on the wall. Lots of files and film canisters, an old monitor. And it's funny because I heard some people speculate and go, oh, look at the old school computer. I thought that was like an old microfiche monitor.
I need to look at that again. Yeah. Could be either way.
Yeah. And there's some like little handles by the clapboard that like could almost be a wheelchair, but I don't think it is. I think it's something else. I don't know what it is. It almost looks like a, oh God, the name's escaping me because it's early. Like a little truck that you use to move boxes when you're moving. A dolly. Like a dolly. Yeah. It almost looks like a dolly, but I saw some speculation of like, oh, is that a wheelchair? Is that a cane? What is that? My money says that she's not paralyzed in this film.
That feels way too. I mean, for this being like the first live action Batgirl thing to happen since, 1967 or 8. And no, I'm not counting 1997, so don't even bring it up to me. It feels way too early to pull that.
That's how I feel. I mean, everything that we've seen.
I guess she's on Titans, and we've had TV stuff too. I'm talking movies, but
right.
By the way, sorry, Andy. I'm just looking at the picture and like. if we wouldn't have just talked about it, I definitely would have thought that was some like wheeled dolly of some sort for sure.
Yeah, that's how I took it too. Because again, it looks like an old storeroom in the back of the police station.
Yeah.
And so it's like a dolly to move boxes and crap. Because there are piles of files and everything. It's all messy. So that was the way I took it, is like they're in a storage room somewhere. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe Officer Barbara Gordon's getting no respect on the force, and they've shoved her desk back in the storage room.
She's Milton.
Yes, exactly. She just wants her stapler, her purple stapler.
And sorry again, that monitor deal, that's definitely what you thought it was, like the magnifier.
Yeah, like the microfiche.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that was microfiche was the internet before there was internet.
Oy. I'm glad I never really had to deal with it. I only saw it in movies.
I was like that generation that transitioned from one to the other, so I get it. Did you guys not have overhead projectors in your classroom?
Oh, we had those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely.
Yeah, man. Even I had those.
Yeah. So they're out shooting. I also love that the director, he tags the location as Gotham City.
Nice.
And yeah, like my first reaction was like, oh my God, yeah, it's in production. And again, I feel like this happened very quickly, but I'm not mad about it. I'm psyched. I can't wait for this movie. And I love that it's been on the fast track. And then after I got the excitement of, oh my God, it's happening, they're shooting it, what a great logo, it's the great purple Batgirl logo, then my mind went to where Jamie's was, which was like, oh man, those are Christmas decorations. It's gonna be a Christmas movie!
That was the first thing. Is I looked at it, I looked at the clapper, I looked at the wreath, and I looked back at the clapper, and I'm like, it's a goddamn Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the other stuff. I didn't see the monitor, the dolly. I didn't see any of the other stuff. All I saw was the clapper and the Christmas decor, and I was like, yes!
Exactly. And then I tweeted that out being like, oh my God, it's a Christmas movie. And then I want to say it was Joe Forno goes, oh, I thought this they just had Christmas decorations up in like the production office.
I thought that at first too, but it's too deliberate to have that other stuff there
exactly.
in addition to that.
Exactly.
For that to be the case.
I was like, the fact that the nameplate of Officer Barbara Gordon is there, that implies that this is part of the set, not that this is the production office.
That's exactly where I'm listen, Joe's a thinking guy. He's a friend of mine.
But in this case, he's dead wrong, and he's a freaking idiot.
Immediately back around to say this is too deliberate for this to be a thing that's not in the movie.
Joe, you're wrong. You're stupid. You're canceled.
That's right. Don't you take our dreams from us, Joe.
Don't rob my Christmas joy. This is not the time or the season, Ebenezer Forno.
Joe, don't listen to these social media hacks. I'll have my wife send you some more cupcakes. Everything will be cool.
Oh.
All that is to say, I love Joe Forno. I'm just kidding. We love you, Joe.
My wife did send him cupcakes.
What?
I mean, he paid for them.
She didn't send me no cupcakes.
You didn't pay for them. It was a fundraiser.
Oh, okay. I have to pay.
They were homemade. They were amazing. You should have been there.
Great. Anyway, so it happened. Anyway, I'm psyched. Can't wait. Any additional thoughts, Preston?
Dude, I am so ready for this. Bring it on. I mean, you name dropped it earlier, but In the Heights, Leslie Grace is fantastic. Like, freaking fantastic. And I think she is going to do awesome in this role. And come on, Brendan Fraser, I am ridiculously hyped for this.
Yeah, same. Jamie, anything else?
I still haven't seen In the Heights. It's like number 4 on my HBO Max watch list right now.
Man, so make it happen. I know it's holiday season. That's tough.
Is it a Christmas movie? Because if it's a Christmas movie, I'll
get
it on as soon as we're off this recording.
It is 100% a summer movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unfortunately going to have to wait until January.
Yeah. But it's great. It's one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah, man.
I'll definitely get it in early January so I can have it ready for the year-end special thing that we'll probably do.
Yeah,
I guess.
You should. You definitely should.
All right.
Question. Do we think that Brendan Fraser is going to get to drop an F-bomb? At least one.
I mean, it's likely to be a PG-13 film, so they'll get the one.
Yeah.
And if they're going to get one, they got to give it to him.
Give it to him.
Have to.
I don't know if you guys have been watching Doom Patrol. It continues to be a delight, but there was a recent or not a recent episode because they're all out now, but I've been catching up, so it's recent for me, where Brendan Fraser plays a scene with Robot Man. and it's fantastic. It's so good. So I love that show always brings ways or finds ways to bring him back in human form, as well as Matt Bomer, to bring them both back as themselves. And there was just an amazing episode. I want to say it was episode 8 of the season where they essentially confront themselves, and it's amazing.
I'm still only like halfway through season 2. But...
yeah, it's so good. Anyway, speaking of Brendan Fraser, since you brought it up, he also just got to set, and he celebrated his birthday yesterday on set, and so they also posted a picture of that. They had a little birthday cake for Brendan as he's shooting Batgirl as Firefly. So that was nice.
Wait a second. So it's a Christmas movie and a birthday movie? Perfect.
Yep, it's all of the movies.
It's awesome, man. Yeah.
So happy birthday, Brendan Fraser. We love you, and we can't wait to see you in Batgirl.
Or one could say happy effing birthday.
Yeah.
I guess, for Brendan Fraser.
What the? Okay. And then we also
has such a natural ability for that.
He's so good. So we're excited to see Brendan Fraser. We're excited to see Leslie Grace, and we're also excited to see J.K. Simmons. And he actually talked about Batgirl recently on an interview with Josh Horowitz. And so here's what he said. He said, I was completely flabbergasted that they came back to me recently and wanted me to be Commissioner Gordon again and to have it be a more significant role. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to get on the horn to Leslie Grace and the directors in the next couple days and do some preliminary rehearsals. He said, they start very soon. I jump on board sometime in January in Glasgow, which is a wonderful place to shoot as it's gothic. I'm excited to be the once and future Jim Gordon. I had a long discussion with the guys on how we want to portray him. It's a really interesting take on introducing Batgirl and fleshing Jim Gordon out. So very exciting. Glad that he is heading to Glasgow after the holidays to join the team. So yeah, thoughts on his comments there, Preston?
Oh man, I mean, I am. It's unfortunate I forgot to mention him on my spiel there because I'm so excited that he is back as Jim Gordon. Obviously, man, I was so afraid that his efforts and his performance in Justice League was just gonna kind of be that and be done. So thrilled that he's getting the opportunity to come back. Obviously, he's fantastic in everything basically, and man, he's a busy guy. Like, I'm gonna be curious to see how involved he is, obviously in this next Spider-Man movie and that universe going on. So I'm just glad that he can play in all the fields, if you will.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Jamie?
Listen, this guy makes farmers insurance commercials entertaining to watch. So
True.
I'm delighted to have him back in the role. I'm delighted to have him in a movie about a character that I truly love and adore. And the guy brings his A game to everything he does, from commercials to bit parts to major roles. I mean, he's an actor's actor. He never phones it in. He never gives a half-ass. He's a consummate professional, and I am a huge fan of this guy. So absolutely, I'm delighted that he's here, and I couldn't be more excited to have him back as Jim Gordon.
Yep, agreed all around. He's terrific, and it's so cool that he gets another shot at this. He gets a bigger, more significant role, as he said. Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome. What's interesting,
you ever see the movie Juno?
Of course.
I love that movie, and he is so great in that. Everybody's great in that movie, but I mean, he's exceptional.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting is they're shooting in Glasgow, which is awesome, perfect for Gotham. But didn't they also shoot part of the Batman in Glasgow?
I think so.
I thought they did. I think
you're right.
Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought they did, which is so interesting because it's like they're shooting in the Batman's Gotham, but with J.K. Simmons as Gordon. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But anyway.
No, I mean, it could just be that Glasgow lends itself to that gothic look that, even Simmons mentioned in that interview.
Yeah.
Obviously, Reeves saw something in that for the Batman. So
right.
Yes, and you are 100% right. It was definitely filmed in Glasgow for sure.
All right. Did you look it up on your internet box?
I did. That is an
you.
Interesting thing, right?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that.
The amazing thing about those boxes, they never lied to you about anything.
No, it's always right. Yeah. Well, thanks for checking. So, yeah, I can't wait for Batgirl. I love that it's shooting. Makes me excited. If they're shooting, if it's Christmassy, I wonder if that means a year from now we will be watching it.
Dude, that's exciting.
Yeah, very. Also nice to hear J.K. Simmons discussing it, hearing his thoughts. And then another one of our DC actors was recently discussing her return to the DC universe, and that's Kiersey Clemons. So Kiersey Clemons, who was Iris in Justice League, just for that one quick moment, or quick sequence, I guess I'll say. She's back.
Great sequence, by the way. Quick
Absolutely, yeah. She's back and filming The Flash. Or did film, I guess. Yeah, I guess it's already done filming. It's done filming, Jamie. It's already in the can.
Sure.
But
I love this.
She did an interview discussing film, and she talked about making The Flash. And here's what she said. She said, it didn't feel real. None of it. From the day
even she doesn't think so.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Here we go.
But she was there, Jamie. She says, from the day I started to the day that I wrapped, because we waited so long that I was like, I'm not really here right now. It felt very weird. I'm not going to lie. It felt weird because it's been a long time. Yeah, Iris has grown up. It's a different version than what I may have had an idea of who she would be. It was just a discovery, and it was really exciting. She said, I initially came out of the movie excited to work with who was the director at the time, but also excited to be in a superhero movie. Now it's less about the movie. I'm excited for Andy, who's our director now, but now it's more so I'm excited for the people who are excited and who have been commenting on my photos, Iris West, for 5 years. Like, are you joking? This is for them. So anyway, it's kind of fun to hear her say that, and I get it. Like, from the moment she signed on to play Iris, it took forever for her to make the actual movie. So I can imagine it was a little surreal, but now that they have made the movie, it is coming out. I'm sure, looking back is an interesting thing for her.
Oh my, it's got to be so gratifying. Like, I am such a fan of this young lady. Her previous work is fantastic as well. And I will say I'm so thrilled that we got to see, obviously, her character, her introduction in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will say, when you guys talked about this movie, still to this day, her intro with Song to the Siren, I mean, that is tear-inducing for me, and I'm not even afraid to say it. So excited that she's getting this opportunity. And I'm so pumped for this movie. I mean, I mentioned it earlier. We all love Michael Keaton around here. Who am I saying? And the Flash character in general. And I just think this is going to be a blast, man. I really do. Everything I've seen to this point. I mean, even the direction and the producers and whatnot. I mean, I really loved their take on it, and I love that Warner Brothers, saw how successful those two films were and kind of handed them the keys to something else, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely, Jamie.
I needed to see a trailer, but I mean, I'm certainly, if this movie happens, I'm interested in seeing more from Kiersey Clemons. I enjoyed her scene in Justice League. I liked her. I think it was Dope. Was that the movie she was in?
Yes.
She was really good in that. So yeah, I mean, somebody just show me a trailer. I mean, if this movie's that done, I mean, a trailer should be available, right?
Andy, when is the release date? Again, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
November 4th. Of next year. So less than a year now. Okay. We're now less than a year away.
When do you think we do get a trailer?
When maybe by the Batman, maybe spring?
Oh God, we'll have to have one.
Because I'm trying to think of what's the next DC movie that they,
That's a good point.
Because it's the Batman, and then does anything come out between the Batman and the Flash? I would have to check. Super Pets, sure. So,
and I'm not saying that to be a smartass. I mean, they legitimately probably want some of that audience to pay attention to the fact that there's a Flash movie coming. So,
yeah.
I think if they can wait until March, I think that would be perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I feel like if this movie theoretically exists, we'll give at least a teaser by the Batman, if not a full trailer.
Yeah. So, the one other thing I want to add about this, her comments, is that she, she says a lot here, but some people took some of these comments out of context and posted them as headlines, it's basically saying that especially when she said, when I initially came on board, I was excited to work with who was the director at the time, and then they kind of just put ... but now it's less about the movie, and everyone kind of freaked out, and it's like, when you actually listen to what she's saying, like, first of all, yeah, she was excited because it was the director of Dope, right?
Of course.
Who gave her big break. So of course that's why she was excited when she initially signed on, but now she's excited because it's been 5 years coming, and she's excited for all of us fans who've been waiting for this movie. What she said is perfectly reasonable, but yeah, unfortunately the internet just took just a couple little things out of context and tried to make it sound like she was throwing shade or something, which is not the case at all.
When it comes to the internet, you can stuff your reason in a sack, mister.
Yeah. So
one thing I was going to point out is, like, Jamie, we laugh at you saying the movie doesn't exist, but I mean, my goodness, when you really, like, take a step back and think about everything that this thing has been through, all the changes, all the scripts, I mean, I can't fault you, sir.
I get tired of being burned too much. This is why I did this with Young Justice, because I never believed that was ever going to happen either. And by God, people, please get on Young Justice on HBO Max, because I need, season 5 through 12 now. Because I'm cynical, and because I hate being burned, and it scours my feelings when that sort of thing happens for something that I really want. I'm still waiting for some kind of a damn, Hollywood Reporter announcement that Andy Muschietti stepped away from this movie.
Don't you speak that into existence.
I don't want to, but you understand why I think that.
Oh, yes.
Point, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just sitting here waiting for something like that to happen.
I mean, I get it to an extent, but at this point, the movie has freaking wrapped.
Now, then why don't I have a trailer?
You have a teaser?
A trailer for the Batman when it was 25% finished. I can't get one for a movie that's actually finished? The F out of here.
Mom and Dad are fighting.
All things in due time. We've gotten footage. We've gotten footage. Come on.
We have gotten that.
Not enough. I'm sorry. I've been too burned too many times. It's simply not enough for me. Trailer.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, we gotta wait one thing at a time, and the next big DC movie coming is The Batman. It's coming in now less than 3 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That doesn't seem possible. But
it is.
But it's got to be 4 months, right?
Less than 3. It's the first week of March, March 4th.
Oh, I guess you're right.
And so Warner Brothers released not only an updated synopsis, but also it's the whole big press release rigmarole about the Batman now that we're 3 months out. So there's a lot here. And here we go. This is what they released. It's not just a call, it's a warning. From Warner Brothers Pictures comes Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson in the dual role of Gotham City's vigilante detective and his alter ego reclusive billionaire Bruce Wayne. 2 years of stalking the streets as the Batman, striking fear into the hearts of criminals, has led Bruce Wayne deep into the shadows of Gotham City. With only a few trusted allies, Alfred Pennyworth, Andy Serkis, Lieutenant James Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, amongst the city's corrupt network of officials and high-profile figures, the lone vigilante has established himself as the sole embodiment of vengeance amongst his fellow citizens. When a killer targets Gotham's elite with a series of sadistic machinations, a trail of cryptic clues sends the world's greatest detective on an investigation into the underworld, where he encounters such characters as Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, Colin Farrell, Carmine Falcone, John Turturro, and Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler, Paul Dano. As the evidence begins to lead closer to home and the scale of the perpetrator's plans becomes clear, Batman must forge new relationships, unmask the culprit, and bring justice to the abuse of power and corruption that has long plagued Gotham City.
You should be a trailer voice guy, Andy. Well done.
Happy to do it. And then there's even more where he talks about the cast and crew and et cetera, et cetera. But look it up. It's not as interesting to hear me read it, but you can check those out. But it does say it will open in theaters in North America on March 4th, 2022, and internationally on March 2nd, 2022. It will be distributed worldwide by Warner Brothers Pictures, of course. So they're really getting to that final push with 3 months to go. And so, yeah, it's getting more and more detailed. There's more and more info out there. Preston, where do you stand on the Batman?
Oh, dude, I'm so excited to talk about this with you guys, man. After hearing you guys talk about it so long, I actually get to chime in.
Bring
guys,
your
I'm
enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Bring that
well-
Preston Willis enthusiasm. It'll cut down on the angry tweets that we get when we publish.
Listen, man, that's exactly what I'm gonna do because I'm really excited for this, guys. Like I'm really excited. Just going back to when this was announced and Matt Reeves directing, I was so excited about that, and I know we all were. And specifically with the Robert Pattinson casting, I mean, sorry to go back so far, but the work that this guy has done in recent years, I mean, between The Lighthouse, between movies like Good Time, I was so excited. And also, like, selfishly excited. My one visit to Hollywood, LA area, I went to the Jimmy Kimmel show, and that was a really cool experience. But he was on there. And so, like, we got, my wife and I got to see him up close and stuff. So when the news came out about Batman, I was like, oh, it's fate. There you go. So I'm really excited about this film, man. I actually went to the movies, I guess it was last weekend. I took my mother to the movies, who never watches movies, so that's always a treat when I get to take my mom to the movies. We saw House of Gucci, which was really good, by the way.
Nice.
But when we were leaving, I got to see the theatrical posters, and I will say, even coming from me, the posters are fine. Like, they didn't, blow me away by any means. And I'm talking about kind of the basic, where you can see the Batman on it, the red background, and then you have the one with the Riddler as well. They're
I
fine.
personally think that Batman poster looks a lot better in person than it does on digital images online. The Riddler poster looks a lot friggin' worse.
Yeah,
anyway,
the double.
Please continue.
Yeah, no, you're fine, man. The double-sided with the kind of light box, it does. It looks really good. But it was just so cool and so exciting for me just to be able to be walking through a movie theater and go, oh, like, that's the new Batman movie coming out in, again, just under 3 months. I totally understand where you guys are coming from. Aesthetically speaking, you are not wrong in the least bit. I can just say that I am personally really pumped for this, and I truly do think it's going to be really special. I really do. I mean, I look back at that first DC Fandom trailer, and I can't begin to tell you guys, like, how blown away I was with that. And I think whether or not you liked it, we all can agree, like, we weren't expecting that, like, on that scale, as far as how much footage we got, because, my God, they were a third of the way through filming the movie, right? So I just remember being so blown away with that. And I love what they're doing with the score and kind of integrating that Nirvana feel into it. And of course, I don't know if we'll have that in the actual film, but man, I'm ready. I'm ready for March, and I'm super excited to see what these guys and gals have up their sleeves. Super excited for Zoe Kravitz too. So yeah, sorry, that's my thoughts in a nutshell. I'm really pumped.
All right, nice. I gotta say, I was when I was back in California for Thanksgiving, I drove by WB, and they always put the posters of the latest and greatest on the sides of the sound stages. And so driving by, it was those two teaser posters of Batman and the Riddler. And same thing is, like, I just seeing them on the side of the studio, you're like, oh, that's right, new Batman movie, it's coming, and it's coming so soon.
Real.
So it still gives you that, like, oh, good, it's coming, regardless of any of our misgivings on some of the aesthetics. It was still cool to see them up there and the promotion really starting, and it's coming, it's getting close. So Jamie, any thoughts on these updated synopsis and little details about the story?
No, it just feels like they're expanding it just a little bit more on stuff that we've heard already, which is fine. And at this point, I'm just kind of ready to watch the movie and give my true final judgment on it instead of my speculative negativity. And I don't want to offer that because Preston is so excited for this movie, and I don't want to hurt his feelings. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to knock wood and pass the deal to you now.
Can I say one quick thing, Andy? I just want to actually brag on both of you guys because, being an outsider previously to today, I think you guys handled this whole situation very well. Like, you're honest. You're not going to lie to your audience, right? If you're anything, you're going to be honest with folks and lay it out there. But we've all heard those podcasts and we've all unsubscribed from those podcasts that just take so much pleasure in bashing things. It's like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to get into too much detail, but we've all been there, right? But you guys, I just feel like have been honest, yet just totally let things come. And I just have to boast you guys for that, because as someone that's been super excited for this movie, I've listened to everything you guys have said about it, and it is what it is.
Well, that's good to hear.
I never go into a movie wanting to not like it, ever. I never want to do that.
So many do, right?
And I legit want to like this movie. I do that with every movie. I mean, if you've ever heard me tirade about like Avengers Infinity War, I went into that movie thinking I was going to love it, and I did not. And I still went into Avengers Endgame hoping I was going to love it, and I did not. But you know what? I don't go to the movies to try and be mad. I don't pay $11 to sit down in a seat and cross my arms and go, humph. I legitimately do not want to do that. That's a waste of time, a waste of money, and a waste of energy. It's simply foolishness. I don't want to do that. But I'm not going to tell people something that I don't think is true either.
Sure.
If I go in and watch a movie and I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you you're an asshole because you did like it and I didn't, because that's as foolish as anything else. But the Marvel movies, they're a real roller coaster for me. I really love some of them. I really like some of them. I just think some of them are some of them are not so great, and some of them are trash. I mean, it's over the course of 24 or whatever it is movies that they've released so far. I should expect that. It's like Batman over the course of however many movies it's been. I don't know, 8, 10 movies, whatever it's been. Some of them are great. Some of them not so great. One of them I can't freaking stand the side of. I mean, it's when you have that many movies, you just simply have to expect they're not all going to be great. They're not all going to be trash. I mean, there's middle ground to be had over that expanse. It's simply the way it is. Like, I don't even know why I'm saying it, but Shang-Chi, that's one of the best superhero movies of the last 5 years. I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't go to a theater to see that. I love that movie so much. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, I just think you guys were very fair, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm sure, there was some hate mail as always, but
only he has to read that. I can say whatever I want because he's the one that has to deal with it.
Lucky
it's
me.
Discussions of it, but
at Loey007, right?
Yeah. All complaints should be sent to Loey007.
But no, I just want people to understand. I'm trying to be better about how I handle things, and I think I've made improvements in myself over the last year or two.
Oh,
but
dude.
I don't ever want to pay money or spend time watching a movie and not like the movie. I don't watch a movie just so I can hate it, so I can go online and tell everybody how much I hated it. That's the most silly waste of time I could possibly think of in this crazy world of all the things I could be doing with my time. That is a complete waste of everything. So I don't want to do that. So even though I may say that there's a lot of things about this Batman movie that's coming up that don't thrill me, they don't excite me, or I just plain don't care for at all, I'm still going into this movie expecting to like it or wanting to like it. I want everybody to understand that right now.
Understood. And super quick side note, I'm sorry, but you brought it up. The RF for RM Infinity War episode is one of the greatest podcast episodes ever put to podcasting. So there you go.
It damn well killed the show.
I need to apologize to everybody out there because Leroy and I were fighting before that episode even happened. So by the time the episode happened, he and I were looking for haymakers the whole time.
Okay. I have to throw this out there. My wife, typically despises, nerd talk. She loves movies and stuff, but she's not a person that listens to podcasts and all this stuff. So I pretty much have to wear headphones around the house, right? So one year around that time of that release, we were going to Florida on vacation, and I was driving. So I thought, hell, I'm driving. I'm controlling the radio. Sorry, you're going to have to hear this. Her and I laughed our asses off at you guys going at it. And I'm not kidding you, she still brings that up to this day. She still brings that up. It is hilarious.
And I also want to be clear, Leroy and I got over that in a big hurry. We're brothers. We love each other. Everything's cool. It's not, even though it almost killed the show, the relationship survived just fine. So
that was amazing.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, Andy. Batman, you did not get even a chance to chime in. I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate the kind words. We try to be fair, but yeah, I mean, most people are pretty good at going, you know what? It's fine. You guys have your opinions, and it's great. But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be the few that, unless you say exactly what they want to hear, they're going to be mad, and we have plenty of those too. So yeah, I just try to focus on what I do like about what I hear and what I do like about what I'm seeing. And so I mean, I agree with Jamie about this updated info. Is it does feel like it's what we've already heard, but they just continue to flesh it out, give us little more details as we go, as we get closer and closer. And this is certainly that big info dump of, oh, here's everything, because the movie is really, really close. There are a couple little things in here that I thought were interesting. The fact that it confirms that in this point that Bruce Wayne is reclusive, so we don't have the public persona Playboy Bruce Wayne, billionaire Playboy. This is the Bruce Wayne who seems far more focused on being Batman at the expense of being Bruce Wayne, but maybe that's part of his arc, which I think makes sense based on the trailers. I could certainly see that being the case. The Riddler targeting Gotham's elite, and it also seems like this is we're entering a place where Gotham is in a really bad state, where everyone's corrupt, because it even says that the lone vigilante has established himself as the sole embodiment of vengeance. So it almost sounds like, oh, Gotham's in a really bad place. Riddler's trying to take down the elite in one way, and then that, I think, probably causes some conflict in Batman of being like, yeah, these people are doing wrong, but so is the Riddler, and how does that work? It's a small thing, but forgive me. I'm glad that it calls out Selena Kyle as Catwoman. I didn't know if they were going to do that.
Good call.
I didn't know if they were going to call Oswald out as the Penguin, and they do. I'm glad that it also uses his full name, Oswald Cobblepot. I didn't know if they would do that, because Matt Reeves, because he chose Edward Nashton, which I think is, it tends to be the more, the less used alias of the Riddler. The fact that he went with that, I did wonder, would he use Oswald Cobblepot? Would he call her Catwoman? Because in the promo art we've seen of Selena, it just says Selena Kyle. It doesn't say Catwoman. So
Dark Knight Rises. I mean,
yeah.
The same scenario there.
So I'm at least, it's nice to at least see them name checked with their comic book counterparts there. So yeah, I mean, all of it sounds good. It certainly sounds like an intriguing story to tell of Batman. It will be interesting to see how the pieces all play together. But for me, more than anything, like getting this sort of info, it's like, man, it's so close. And again, I always get sad after the holidays, but this is another thing to look forward to. It's Peacemaker, it's this, and the birth of my child. But mostly this. This is probably the big one.
Man, go ahead.
Andy says that he wants to focus on things that he likes versus things that he doesn't. So in the spirit of that, I do want to say I'm a big fan of Colin Farrell as an actor. I think that guy is mega talented. I think he turns in some fantastic performances. I mean, in Bruges, even if you don't like the Daredevil movie, his turn in as Bullseye, as batshit insane as it may be, it's a really good performance. I'm a huge fan of that guy. So seeing him immerse himself in a role where he is virtually unrecognizable from head to toe, and playing in a Batman film as an iconic Batman villain who, we've only really seen, twice if you count the 66 Batman movie in live action on a big screen. To me, that's exciting, and I am truly looking forward to that.
Well, and what we've seen in the trailers, he looks like a scene stealer.
Oh, certainly.
He looks like he's having a blast. He's super fun to watch in just the little moments we get in the trailers. I agree with you. I mean, I'm looking forward to everyone, but he has, I think, been the most exciting from the trailers.
It's like I watched that one season of True Detective with him in it, and he was sublime in that. And all I could think to myself was, hey, Colin, man, you really immersed yourself in that, and I barely recognized you in that role. And he's like, hold my beer and watch the Batman.
I love that, like, he was put up as like the next big leading man, you know, because he's so handsome. And he has really bucked that and been like, no, I'm a freaking actor. I'm going to act. And so he's chosen some very, you know, odd choices, different roles. He's really tried to not just get pigeonholed as the leading man. And I think that, yeah, he's proven himself like such a versatile actor because of that. And this is, you know, this is the perfect example. This man he's a beautiful man. And he's like, no, make me look like Richard Kind. And I'm gonna live it up.
I can't unsee it now.
Oh no, you should not have said that. Oh, oh my God. Listen, man, I know you guys are as well, but I am a massive fan of practical effects and practical makeup effects. Like, I mean, so much kudos. I am convinced that if we did not know who it was, we wouldn't know.
No, we totally
wouldn't.
I am
still convinced.
Nope, I completely agree with you.
Even as one of the guy's biggest advocators, I wouldn't have ever guessed it was him when somebody didn't tell me. Like when that teaser came out and they're like, and Colin Farrell, I'm like, he wasn't in the teaser. They're like, yes, he was right there. I'm like, oh, that's him? What?
It took everyone a day or two to figure out that was him.
Nuts.
Because of how unrecognizable he is. It's amazing.
That guy, he's such a good actor. If you guys have ever watched the show Scrubs, he was on one episode of Scrubs and he was just playing a guy that was sitting next to a dude's hospital bed because they got in a bar fight and he knocked him out and put him in a coma. And he was just like, he was in the one episode, so a 22-minute episode, and it was like super impactful and a great performance. Like it was everything I've ever seen from that guy is just wonderful. So watching him in this movie is definitely the one thing above all else. And there are a couple other things I'm interested in seeing. You know, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman to me is intriguing, and you know how Pattinson's performance as Batman and Bruce Wayne are going to be, and Andy Serkis, I love that guy. I think he's an underrated actor too. Jeffrey Wright, I mean, that guy's just straight up brilliant in everything he does. So there are things I'm certainly interested in and somewhat excited for, I guess, but nothing above Colin Farrell in this film intrigues me more.
Awesome.
Yeah. So very exciting. Coming our way March 4th. New Batman movie is coming. It's going to be great. So that's it. That's what I got for news. Oh, no, the most important thing, I don't know if you guys saw this, out there making the rounds, Oreos for the Batman.
What?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oreos for the Batman. So that's, if nothing else, that's something to look forward to.
Well, you know, as somebody who does not so casually peruse the Oreo section of the cookie aisle as I'm walking by in the grocery store, I'll be looking out for those now.
Yeah, I know.
Jamie, his face is on the cookie. You eat Batman's face. That's what you do.
Somebody's got to.
The Penguin would eat his face. He would at least bite his nose.
I volunteer as tribute.
So I mean, aside from being excited about a new movie, I do love the tie-in products. I'm a big fan. I still got my cereal boxes from BVS. I got my cereal box from Batman 89.
You want to come over and see my ridiculous collection of Godzilla 98 and Episode 1 Phantom Menace shit that I got down here in my basement?
I do, actually. Awesome. I would love to.
You know those Godzilla cup holders that Taco Bell had that you hung on like the sill of your door?
Yeah,
I have like 20 of those.
I have mine right here on the shelf next to me, and it's beautiful. And I kind of want to just use it in my car.
You remember when the Star Wars special editions came out? Taco Bell had the different Star Wars toys.
Heck yeah.
And they had that spinning, sparking Death Star that got recalled because it was a fire hazard. I had like 10 of those.
Great.
I have buckets from KFC from Episode 1. I have Pizza Hut pizza boxes from Episode 1.
Amazing.
I've got all of it.
So
Lay's
much.
Potato chip bags. I've got all of it, man. All of it.
I saw someone mention this on Twitter, Andy, but it's so true. Like, since we got Oreos, we need to complete the Trinity, if you will, and get cereal and fruit snacks to go with.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes. I said cereal. I'm like, please give us a breakfast cereal because I love me some movie tie-in breakfast cereal. Hell yeah. Fruit snacks? Yes, I will also be in for that. Make it happen.
No way that doesn't happen. No way.
Cool. So
even
okay,
if this is a rated R movie that no kid under 17 is even allowed to walk in, even with a parent, there's no way they don't do the cigarette. No.
Yeah, those Rambo fruit snacks were the best.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, Batman Oreos, very excited. Don't know when those come out. Just there was a picture making the rounds, and it's legit. It wasn't fan made. It's just a matter of when that happens. But
Well, Oreos have a half-life, so they could literally show up any day right now.
this is true. So I hope there are no spoilers on those Oreos.
Oh, damn it.
All right. So anyway, that's what I got for news. So that's exciting. We did also watch an episode of Batman Beyond. But before we talk about that, I got to tell you guys some kind of exciting news and share some thoughts. Is we have our first official sponsor on the show. So I got to tell
Congrats.
you, yeah, thanks. It's exciting.
It's Gotham Lady Perfume, right?
Soon your baby boss will be asking you for staff meetings for 2. Candlelit staff meetings.
Don't forget to watch that for your cheer-a-thon. That is a Christmas movie. Get that on your list.
Obvi. Anyway, so yes, Manscaped reached out to us and wanted to promote themselves on the show. And so they were very nice and sent us all a box of their products. But here's the funny thing about Manscaped. I already used them. True story. So when they asked,
so this is a paid endorsement, but it's also a legitimate.
That's why I don't mind doing it. I'm like, I literally already use it and it's great. So yes, I will also take the replacement products because I haven't reordered in a minute. But I've already got them. They're great. So guys, I mean, if you've seen the commercials for Manscaped or the ads or whatever, that's what I did. Is I saw them for months and months and months, and it was last year when I was in quarantine, stuck in the United States, where I was like, I'm gonna finally order this thing because yeah, I trim it up. It's good. It's a good idea to trim. Don't just do it for you. Do it for your significant others and loved one.
Hygiene.
They will thank you for it. And you know, for the longest time, I used just the regular trimmers that you get at Target, and I'd always nick myself. I'd always end up bleeding, and it was a pain in the ass, but I dealt with it. And so Manscaped, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a try because they promise I ain't gonna get nicked. Guess what? It ain't just a promise. It's true. I don't know how it's a different trimmer. I don't know how that works, but it is. And somehow I don't end up bleeding. So I thank them for that. And they also have really other nice products. They have a little nose hair trimmer, which, God, I'm in my 40s. Now I have to worry about nose hair. Why? Mother Nature, why do you do this? I don't want to worry about nose hair, but I have to. And yeah, they have a nice little nose trimmer. The very soft and comfy boxer shorts. Like they have a whole bunch of products. And you know, if you haven't tried them yet, I do highly recommend it. And so I don't just highly recommend it because they've asked me to and they've sent us samples. I also am recommending it because I had already paid real money for it previously and I did not regret it. And I've only used it ever since because they're really nice. It's really well done. And so you won't regret it. And if you do want to use it, if you do want to give them a try, you can use a discount code from us and save 20%. And so the products are super nice. And with the 20% off, no harm in doing it. That discount code is BATSCAPED. 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 So if you're going to go give them a try, please use BATSCAPED, not only because you're going to save money, but also because then they know that you learned about it from us, and that only helps us as the show. So if you want to support the show and also do something nice for yourself, treat yourself for the holiday season, not just treat yourself, but treat your significant other. Everybody wins, we win. Give it a try. Go to Manscaped and use the coupon of BATSCAPED, save 20%, and give them a try. I wouldn't tell you that I like it if I don't like it. You all know I'm pretty bad at lying about saying things I like, something I don't like, but I actually do like them, and I don't think you will be disappointed. So give Manscaped a try and save some money. Use BATSCAPED, and then again they'll know, oh, look at that, Holy BatCast, totally worth it, good people. So do that. And if you're a lady who listening, Christmas is coming, get it for your man because you'll still benefit from it. So again, it's an all-win scenario. So there you go. Check out Manscaped. So big thank you to them for reaching out to the show and for sending us the samples, but also for out there listening. I think you'll like it.
You know, and sorry, Jamie, go right ahead.
No, go right ahead.
Well, I just had a quick thought because you answered, Ben Affleck's question from BVS. Tell me, do you bleed? The answer is no with Manscaped.
Not anymore.
So there you go.
Not anymore.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well done. There's our official sponsor slogan for it right there. Preston, send him a percentage of whatever. That's beautiful. That's perfect. I love it. I have not had an opportunity to use most of the products that were sent to me yet. I will get to them. I promise I will. I just have not yet. I will say this much, 2 things. Number one, the little newspaper that they sent with us, my wife and I were laughing about stuff that was in that newspaper for like 2 days. It's hysterical and it's wonderful. It's worth the price of ordering this stuff alone just for that newspaper that they send with it. And number 2, Brendan, speaking on his behalf, told us that not only does he like the products, he's already reordered some of the products that he was sent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he's enjoying these products as well.
Yeah. When he gets back, or when we can make schedules align, I'm sure he'll tell you all about it. But yeah, I love that he goes, oh, when are you going to start promoting them? And I'm like, oh, on this episode. He goes, damn it, I want to talk about it because I've already ordered more. I'm like, well, there you go. That's a pretty good testimonial there. So I guess Jess is happy.
If Mama's happy, everybody's happy.
You're welcome,
Heyo.
Jess, on behalf of Holy BatCast and Manscaped.
I'm not going to tell people what you called Jess in that little group chat we had. But I will tell you this: I was howling for the better part of 5 minutes about it.
Oh my!
Some things are just for us.
God, that was fun.
Oh, and I'm sure he showed her.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Okay.
She's got a big sense of humor.
Yeah, but Jess is delightful, so she takes it all in stride. Okay, great. So anyway,
she's
thank
married
you
to
guys.
Brendan. You know she's got a sense of humor.
All right. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for supporting us, and thank you for supporting our sponsor. We appreciate that as well. But we're not done just yet, because we did watch the next episode of Batman Beyond. What did we do? Last time we did Centuries of the Last Cosmos. So this time we're still in Season 2, Episode 24, Payback. This one was directed by Kyung-Won Lim and written by Robert Goodman. It aired on May 13th of 2000. So there's a new vigilante in Gotham. His name is Payback. He's all in black. He kind of looks like Executioner-ish. But he has a very cool lightsaber / whip that he uses. And he's going after people who don't treat their kids or teens right. You disrespect kids, Payback is coming for you. He's going to make some life hard for you. So Terry McGinnis, Batman, and Bruce Wayne, they start looking for a link that connects these kids. Turns out all these kids are in the same group therapy. And where they go, they talk to this doctor, they tell them about their problems. Sounds like they also do a lot of venting about the adults in their life. And whenever they vent about these adults, Payback comes for those adults. So we get a couple suspects at who might be Payback. And Terry goes in, infiltrates this group, and starts venting about Bruce Wayne. Which I was like, you're really using his name? Like, wouldn't you just say, right? My boss is a jerk? My boss doesn't respect me? Why would you go, my boss, billionaire Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, the most powerful guy in the city.
You know, yeah. Like, also, less information since you're supposed to be undercover, but okay. But anyway, so yeah, Terry's there. He meets the doctor. He's like, maybe it's the doctor. There's also this assistant, but like a big burly assistant. So you're like, oh, maybe it's the assistant. Which one is it? Terry assumes it's the assistant, and Bruce is like, don't, be careful of jumping to conclusions because sometimes that's not always the answer. And Terry's like, no, I know it's this guy. Turns out it's not this guy. We find that out, like, because Terry confronts him. They get into a big fight, and Terry's like, I know who you are. And the guy's like, no, what are you talking about? I'm just a struggling sculptor who works for this doctor. Why are you punching on me? And Bruce is like, dude, why'd you punch on him? I told you not to. And Terry's like, sorry, but I'm Batman. This is what I do. So they're like, oh, it's
that young gut of his.
Yeah. Like, it must be the doctor. And so Terry kind of lays a trap. He really goes off about Bruce Wayne in one of their sessions. This all gets recorded. And they know that now Payback will come for Bruce Wayne. Sure enough, he does. And along the way, this is spoilers, guys, if you don't want the mystery spoiled. Along the way, we also met the Doctor's son, who hasn't, he's always kind of around, but the Doctor doesn't have as much time for him because he's helping these kids, these other kids with their problems. Anyway, Payback shows up, attacks Bruce Wayne. Batman shows up, stops him, unmasks him. It's the son. It's not the Doctor. It wasn't the assistant. It was the son. Because the son figured if he could solve these kids' problems, then his dad would have more time for him. And the son's wearing some sort of like man-sized super suit. It's unclear on the suit itself, but that makes him seem like he's an adult, but he's not. He's still a kid.
It was that early Marvel trope of old guy in robotic suit.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Hulkbuster armor.
Yes.
But more humanoid. Anyway, so Terry's like, you're right. I shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. And Bruce is like, that's cool. It's fine. But what did you say to him about me that made him come after me? You must have put on a heck of a performance. And Terry's like, what do you mean performance? Because you're an old bastard and I hate you. And that's the end. That's Payback. So, Preston, what'd you think?
Okay, so I have some thoughts. As someone that did not follow this show as it aired and have been keeping up with it pretty good along with you guys, I haven't watched every episode, but most of them I have. I don't even mean this in a bad way whatsoever, but this show has some very weird plots. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's jumping all over the place. Like the previous episode was like a VR Star Wars kind of ripoff. This one is like, kind of talking about this group therapy kind of revenge plot, right? And I'm just like, man, this thing's all over the place. But, I thought it was a fine episode. I thought it was pretty middle of the road, right? I don't really have like, it's funny. I have a lot of thoughts, but I don't have a ton to say about it. It was just, I wasn't shocked, obviously, with the big reveal. As Jamie has said actually on the previous episode, I think, there's been worse ways. I've spent 22 minutes. That's for sure. But it was fine. It was fine.
All right, great. Jamie.
A few weeks ago, I think it was on this show where I was griping about how they did like a murder mystery thing, but when they set it up where there's only one of two possibilities and they push so hard for it to be the one that it has to be the other, I'm going to give a tip of the hat to the people that did this episode, because you had the doctor and you had the doctor's assistant. And they pushed so hard to believe it was the doctor's assistant, I believe the whole time it was going to be the doctor. So when they revealed that it wasn't the doctor but the doctor's son, I was like, hats off to you guys, because I honestly did not predict that coming. So well done. I'm not sure if it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, but for a 22-minute episode trying to cram that much information in, A for effort on that at least.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's how I felt too. Is when you show up and you go, oh, it's the doctor, no, it's the assistant, and then you also meet the son. I appreciated that they went with the least obvious choice, even if they had to do a little bit of sci-fi gobbledygook to make it work. Sure. There's so much sci-fi in the show anyway. You go, okay, yeah, he was wearing some sort of robot suit, sure.
I mean, the future tech aspect of this show, that part doesn't really bother me. If they're setting this in 1948 and the kid's wearing a mech suit like that, now I got a problem with it.
I agree with that. At least the solution was not the most obvious, and it was actually, they did their best to still make it a surprise without making it feel like a cheat.
Sure, absolutely. And, there was a moment where he was like riding in the back of that truck, attacking the people in the truck, and all I could think of was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Am I alone in this? Or
True.
It really, really felt like that to me for some reason.
Halloween 4, maybe a little bit.
Okay. See, I've only seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 once, and I don't remember that part, so I'm a little rusty. But Halloween 4,
I want to see Batman swooping in, and I want Payback to look up and wave his fist at him, shake it in the air, and go, "Lick my plate, you dog dick!" Sorry. Anyway,
Andy, you need to revisit.
I apparently need to revisit. I don't remember that.
I mean, that's blending characters, but that line's obviously iconic from that film. Anyway, the thing about this episode I like the most is somebody who's really been interested in individual mental health for the last couple of years and self-betterment and all of these things. the idea that they had something where these kids could go and vent about the problems that they had in an environment that would be, for lack of something better to call it, a safe space. That idea, I think, especially for being in 2000, is really good, because I think everybody should have some kind of an outlet, be it, a one-on-one thing or a close friend or a group or anything like that. Anything that you can have for your own self-betterment and well-being is a good idea. I certainly advocate for that myself.
Yeah.
The idea when Max was going to come into there, I think was a missed opportunity, because they used her as a distraction, which I understand that story-wise. But if Max was coming in there because she actually needed some kind of help, and Terry realized, hey, maybe I need something like this too, to me, that would have transitioned better, or worked better as a story idea in promoting that idea of mental health. But in 2000, in a kid's show, that probably really wasn't at the forefront. So I can't be mad at the show for not taking that angle. I was just slightly disappointed that that's not where it went. The idea that Terry was getting some kind of therapy and being able to vent about it, I think is good, because it did show that it was beneficial. And even though it makes Bruce look like a raging asshole, which he can be, we all know he can be, but that's not all Bruce is as a person, and that's kind of where this episode portrayed it. So I'm kind of two minds about this, in that I think they lean too hard in making Bruce look like a dick, but a teenager probably does see him like that more, that has to work for him in this capacity, than, an outside guy who's read Bruce Wayne stories for, 40 years. So there was a lot to like in this episode. I think it maybe missed an opportunity or two here or there, but overall, I enjoyed it. I don't think Payback was a particularly memorable villain, but the twist in the reveal, I think, worked better than the character as a whole. And, Terry and Bruce kind of having that shakiness. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm almost going to have to watch an episode or two here. I don't imagine they're going to give any sort of a resolution to this, but I would have liked to have seen more resolution by the end of the episode between them. Terry maybe talking to him in that last moment and saying, hey, I've been talking to these guys about how I feel about you, and maybe I should be talking to you about this as well. Let's, go have, and they don't even need a big deal of it. Just let's go get a cup of coffee or some lunch and let's talk about this. I would have liked that ending a little bit more than you made me sound like an asshole. It was a great performance. Who said it was a performance? And then Bruce giving him the glare as he walks away. I'm a little disappointed in that ending, because I think it could have been much better in a different direction. So overall, I liked the episode. I think it had a lot of good things to say. I think its heart was in the right place, but there was just a couple of misses on swings that I think could have improved the episode pretty greatly, actually.
Yeah, those are those are all really good points, and I agree with all that. I do like the episode. I don't love it. I thought Payback was a very cool looking villain, if not, not exactly iconic, but at least cool looking. I appreciated that. He was pretty neat. I liked that he was trying to do good, but just in a very misguided way, but in the way that a child would think. The child doesn't think in the nuance, and realizing that not everything's black and white. So I think all that makes sense. But yeah, I like the points that you make about, I wish it had something greater to say about the therapy and how it can be helpful, and how, the benefits of something like that. And then, yeah, I always get concerned when Bruce is played off too much as an asshole. Because he can be, but at the end of the day, he still wants to do right. He's still a hero. And I feel
that's
like
just it. It's not who he is. It may be a trait of him, but it's not who he is.
Right. Exactly. And so I don't like it when they go too far down that route. And so, yeah, there was a little too much of that. Or even if Terry, had spent this time venting about Bruce, and in the end, Bruce does something kind or supportive or something where Terry's like, oh, like, it's not black and white, he's not the bad guy. It's just just add something to have a little more redemption of Bruce himself, whereas he's not a bad guy. He is supporting Terry. He's trying to teach Terry. And there is a great moment where Terry says something about, like, you were right, I made a horrible mistake, and Bruce goes, yeah, you learn from it. That's all you can do. And like, that was a really nice fatherly moment with Bruce. So I always like when we get a little bit more of the humanity of Bruce Wayne, and I feel like sometimes writers are too tempted to always go with the stoic, hard-nosed version. We know that Bruce Wayne has a heart, and I like sometimes when they show it more. But as for the episode, I did like it, but I do agree with you, Jamie, in that a stronger note to go out on with a connection between Bruce and Terry, I think would have gone a long way.
Man, one quick thing I totally forgot to mention too, and Jamie, you brought this up as well, and as well as you, Andy. I do like that this episode, kind of was an advocate for just talking to somebody, right?
Yeah.
That was really cool, because there's even, like you guys talking about Bruce being an ass. Like at the beginning, he kind of shuns the idea, right? But Terry's like, no, sometimes people just need somebody to talk to, somebody to hear. So, yes, you guys already made that point, but really, really good stuff there. Totally forgot to mention that.
No, and it's such a good point that, and I'm glad that these days it's been sort of destigmatized in a lot of ways. But not only just like I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I had never done it until I went through my divorce, and then I went. And not only is it incredibly helpful, it's awesome. Like it is so, it's more than helpful. So to get that sort of support for it or justification for it in Batman media or any media, I think is great. Like normalize going to a therapist and talking out, what's bugging you guys. It's great. And so, yeah, it's nice to get a little bit of that here in Batman Beyond and 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of almost forward thinking in that. And since we're doing this advocacy and addressing it, I just want to say somebody that I know and love very dearly started doing therapy about 3 years ago, and the changes that this person has made in who they are as an individual and how they see themselves is night and freaking day compared to what it was prior to this therapy that they started going to. I have not gone to therapy. I have done some research on again, self-betterment and self-help and well-being and mental, I don't want to say stability because that's quite the wrong word to use, but I've done some reading and some research on it and some things that I've done for myself in these areas. I feel like I've become a better person. If you guys don't see it, well, screw you. I don't care. But I don't want people out there thinking, because I'm one of those, I would have thought it was a weakness having to go to something like that. 5-10 years ago, I would have thought, that's weakness. That's not weakness. That's strength, because you're making an effort to be the best person that you can be in any way or shape or form that you can. Folks, it's not a weakness. Don't let that stigma set in. Don't let these bullshit, outdated ideas from 1950s Mad Men type of, theories about how things are between men and women and yourself and life and everything else. It's just do what you can to make yourself the best person that you can be, make yourself mentally healthy. If that means leaving social media, that was a big step for me, guys. It really was. Just stepping out of the amount of activity and time that I spent on social media, I can't tell you how much easier I breathe now. Just because I'm not seeing people constantly being negative to each other. So that one step made a big difference in my life. So I don't want to get preachy. I don't want to do an after school special here. I just want to say, if you feel like you need any help, don't be afraid to find help in a book or in a counseling session or in a group or even in a friend with a cup of coffee. Just do what you need to do to better yourself and make yourself right.
Yeah.
Well said.
Completely agreed. I'll give a quick shout out. It's, they're not a sponsor, but there's a podcast I listen to called the Happiness Lab, and it's almost like free therapy. So like for people who are like, oh, I'd love to go to therapy, I can't afford it. I totally get that. Welcome to the United States. There's profit to be made in everything, even your mental health. So if you can't afford therapy, there are other avenues to choose. And I found this one to be very helpful, especially once I was traveling and I couldn't continue my therapy, is I listened to the Happiness Lab, and they just give you little tips and hints and allows you to identify what is making you unhappy, and simple ways day to day to make it better. So like look for those little outlets as well, because they help. And what I realize through social media is that we all struggle with this. We all do, and a lot of us are better at pretending we don't than others, but we all struggle with these inner demons, inner saboteurs that tell you you're not good enough or whatever. And some of us don't talk about it, and it's okay to talk about it, but because we're all dealing with it, it's actually something that connects us, and there are people out there to help, and there are ways to make it better. And finding something like this, a free podcast, not BatCast, but the Happiness Lab, can just help you identify those things in your life and then subsequently make them better. So there's no shame in it. In fact, it's a great thing, because in the end of the day, you end up happier, and isn't that what we all want?
Sure.
Man,
and I'm going to tack one more thing just onto the end of that really, really quick, just because a lot of people simply are not aware of this. This person that I mentioned that I know that's done therapy the last 3 years, they figured this out almost by accident. Most people don't realize it. If you carry health insurance, there's a very good chance that a portion of that health insurance will at least pay for a percentage of some sort of therapy for mental health.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not guaranteed, not going to pay for all of it most likely, but it's certainly worth looking into if it's of interest to you. Maybe do some research on that, because it may not cost you as much as you think.
That's true.
You guys solving the world's problems one BatCast at a time. I love it.
Aren't you glad we talked about this episode of Batman Beyond?
Yeah, right?
We talk about Batman, we talk about super pets, we talk about trimming, and we talk about mental health. We cover it all. We got it covered on Holy BatCast.
No nicks for Andy. That's right, baby.
Great. Well, there you go.
Awesome.
Guys out there, yeah, mental health is important too. Do what you got to do.
Preston, I interrupted you there when you were getting ready to say something. Please continue. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to do that.
No, dude, you're totally fine. I'm just hanging out with you two, man. So, no, what I was going to say was like exactly what I said. Come for a Batman podcast and get great notes from you guys. And I said that's why you're awesome. I love hearing you guys, because you get some real life stuff in there, man.
Well, good. Thank you.
We're real people. Believe it or not, we're not superheroes wearing capes fighting crime. We're actually real people with day jobs.
Yeah, ain't that
the crime fighting's at night.
Shh. Keep that on the down low.
That's right. I'm out there fighting merchandise scalpers from the theme parks every single night here in Orlando, Florida.
I got to trim up before I put on my costume next time. It's getting a little tight in there.
Hey,
there you go. All right. Well, back to the Batman Beyond episode, Payback. Give me a letter grade, Preston.
A+. Now, after that,
the conversation it led to, maybe A+.
You're exactly right.
I'll co-sign that. I'll definitely co-sign that.
I feel comfortable. The episode standing alone, I don't want this to sound too harsh. I think like a C+ for me. I think that's where I'm at.
All right. That's fair. Jamie?
I think I'm at a B for this one. I think its heart was in the right place. I think just a couple changes would have made this an outstanding episode. Instead, it was just a slightly above average episode. But I think, again, maybe I'm being a little bit more generous because of the conversation it generated after the fact and the potential that it had. But, it is what it is. I think it was a decent enough episode. I think it's just shy of being great.
All right, nice. I was gonna split the difference, B-. I like it. I think it's good enough. It's not amazing, but I do appreciate this show going down a different route and trying something new, a different kind of story. And I think it mostly works, but maybe there's a better version in there somewhere.
So I just gave Batman Beyond the highest grade of the group of three that covered the episode. So everybody be aware of the seventh seal that just broke and the sky falling, because it's coming.
No, I was just going to say all that self-betterment is working.
There you go.
Obviously.
Okay, so a B, a B-, and a C+ for Payback, all in the same neighborhood there. So if you guys are following along, the next one up will be Where's Terry? And we're getting very close to finishing up season 2. So Where's Terry next time whenever we do that? And you know what else has to wait for next time is the Wayne Manor mailbox. This took way longer than I was expecting, but I'm not mad about it. I certainly enjoyed it.
Where's Terry? I'll tell you where Terry is. He's locked in the Batcave because Batman didn't appreciate his comments about him being an asshole in that therapy session. That's where Terry's at.
Oh, real quick. I also loved when it's such a snapshot of the moment of time that this was made when Bruce goes, I can't get into the computer. It's not on the net.
Yes, I love that too. I love them talking about the net.
Yeah,
yes.
Not everything's going to be on the net. Oh, man. Dude, my fridge is on the net.
That's right. Good point. Hey, by the way, 15 episodes remaining.
Wow, we're so close. It would be great to wrap it up and start something new soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good to know. Okay, so yeah, Wayne Manor mailbox. We do have quite a few in there, so we're just going to save that for next time because, yeah, I got to wrap it up. Got to get along with my day and release these two fine gentlemen who've already given up enough of their Sunday. So let's wrap it up. Preston, it was an absolute pleasure. It was so great having you.
Oh, buddy, trust me, pleasure's all mine, fellas. I've wanted to do this for so long, and to get the opportunity, I can't thank you guys enough, man. Andy, Jamie, you guys have provided me with so much endless entertainment throughout the years in both really tough times and really awesome times. So can't thank you two enough, and all the shows on RF for RM for that matter, everybody involved. So thank you for having me. It's been a blast, and hope to be back someday.
Well, we would love to have you back. In the meantime, though, where can our friends at home find you?
Of course, on Twitter at Preston967. You can find me there on the tweets. I'm really active. I'm like the only person that ever mentions this. I'm really active on Letterboxd. I'm also at Preston967 on Letterboxd if you want to see what weird movies I'm watching, which this time of year aren't too weird because seasonal viewing, obviously. By the way, random, I loved your recent holiday commercial special, Andy. That was fantastic. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah,
the calculator conversation.
Dude.
I was listening to that in the shower, and I almost slipped and fell down because I was laughing so hard at it. Dude.
Yeah,
that was only published like 36 hours ago, so I am humbled that both of you have already listened.
I haven't got all the way through yet, but I have gotten through the first part.
All right.
I listen to podcasts in the shower and my commute to and from work, so.
Yeah.
I listened while I was working yesterday, and then when I got home, I watched all the commercials, and that was awesome. But anyway, find me on Twitter, find me on Letterboxd. Thank you so much again, guys. This was such a blast.
Absolutely. Jamie, you're not on social media, but thanks anyway.
You know what, man? I was coming in here in a bad mood. I was going to swing. I was going to tell people to go to hell and kiss my ass and everything else. But Preston being on here, his enthusiasm and his positivity is infectious. So I was pretty good today, I think. So, thank you for that, Preston. That's
Too kind, man.
And also, Preston, I want Philzy and Hunter to listen to this very carefully. Preston got the invite to be on the show because he's the one that voted for Dawn of the Dead.
Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. If you know, you know. I'm just going to leave it at that.
But Jamie's over it. He's totally over it.
No, yeah, he's fine.
I ain't never getting over that. No way am I ever getting over that. Next year when Halloween starts, someone is like, who's ready to watch 10 Cloverfield Lane instead of Dawn of the Dead? Nobody. That's the answer.
I love it.
Apparently 4 people, and Hunter just got them all on the same show.
I'm solo over here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be me, but... all right. Anyway, guys, if you want to follow me, I already told you where to follow me. But yeah, as Preston and Jamie just both very kindly said, we just released our Christmas commercial special for the year over on the Real Fans feed. So Real Fans for Real Movies, the feed that is most alive during the holidays. Me, Scotty, and Michael just did the commercial episode, and that was a lot of fun. And then the Christmas special episode will be coming pretty soon. So go check that out. And then check out all the shows that are part of the network at rf4rm.com. But that will do it for this episode of Holy BatCast. It's good to be back, guys. Happy holiday season, whichever holiday you celebrate. We are in the middle of Hanukkah. We're getting towards the end, so happy Hanukkah to all of those who celebrate. Thank you for joining us for this show. Thank you for downloading. Please do subscribe so you never miss an episode, and please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Go to holybatcast.com or find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. If you do have something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com, and hopefully next time we will get around to reading those messages. Our theme music was done by Gaurav Venkateswar. He is terrific. He is talented. His work can be found at gvtunes.com. But that'll do it. On behalf of Jamie and Preston, I've been Andy. We will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
And I'm up. Okay, Crypto. We'll go for a walk.
I have an owner, and he's Superman.
Let me just iron that out. They should call me Iron Man. No. My dog's the best, but he's not the greatest with other animals.